What aspect of the fame really troubled you and it wasn't pleasant?
Basadi. Yeah, man. At the beginning, you get all the attention. There was a time when I was shooting Mubangwele Scandal at the same time. So yeah, it was really a hectic time, but blessings. And that guy is a snake catcher. So onaledi noga. And then apparently mo koloi nana le tshwarinyana o na python e mo la leng. So that woman is beautiful.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
I don't know Kasheba. I want to chance of Welena like face to face. I'm like, I was just starstruck. People always say things like, why do we always see the same faces on screen? It also because of that, because the people that you constantly see is because they deliver. They are good to work with. They know how to work with people.
Back home, what was the overall reaction to now having a celebrity in the midst?
Yeah, it was amazing, because even now, look at your family gatherings. Like now you're getting invites from everywhere, you know. But the problem, like, everyone wants you to say something, wants you to be an MC, if a family function, you know.
There's a death of a cousin you've never met.
Yeah, like
you're expected to speak.
Yeah. So halfway through the season, I just got called to the office and was told that your storyline has come to an end.
King David Studio Podcast.
You can't help it, but Lesley, when you take personally, like I've learned doing these shows, but some stories or some, because it's not just a story, it's someone else's life. Like Lenadian Shapahi, especially ngwana or maybe ke makogonyana ka mo leng. Like there's one story, for example, that we did when I was still doing Speak Out.
Yeah.
And magogo always ha ke ya kulo wa khomo, you know, should always be someone connected, like nalena makogolo
without the cameras.
Yeah. So okay, I took the story and then I gave it to the producers. Okay, they don't prefer it that way, but however, if it's compelling enough. So one day Limpopo, stories are bombing, other stories, and I've been telling them, because I never form part. You know this.
Yeah, the production
of production, and even when they go pitch channel, which shows, I never form part of that.
You're just the presenter.
I'm just the presenter at the end of the day. However, then I speak to one producer that I was with, and like Lena, she's on the ball, like she's. And then I was like, Les, we're not to a moment. What's happening? And because she was honest with me, stories are bombing. There's this one story. Then she listens to it, like when I instinct high, that woman is always on point. She's like, no, that's a story. Let me call them.
Yeah.
She calls back the bosses. But for like SABC, she tells them, or the bosses here. I was like, hey, okay, sounds like. As long as Lunali, guys, it was the best episode we've ever done.
What?
It had all.
Remind us of that story. Do you know what? We've already started recording. But anyway, I'll do the intro in a little bit. Remind us of the story.
Yeah, so what happened is that Nahona Lema Lady Mungwe go Polokwane, Magriza, in fact, oil hore. Ne and Alemona High never own the takes.
Okay.
So what's all hore Muna High last lokofal. But then during the moment laying in the Honali takes I think it was either takes one the very first one or something.
Okay.
I think by the Unibasets who did one. So they took it to one mechanic, Yamopalla Huilukisa, they bought it at a second hand, and then Ola I Fitisa, I saw mechanic. I think Leona by the time Nara Fitla Speak Out.
Yeah.
In Eluavar. So Kelohoa and so Magrizana feel no, maybe I'm mistreated Kalabakala you know, Kiki, she's a pensioner and a kidaki. One generation Yawama Olid Barro Nabo Bon. So anyway, kind of long story short, so Harleko Limpopo.
Yeah.
Read the stories, because what viewers don't get to realize, or even listeners, in your case, even here as viewers rather, what they don't get to realize, some stories bomb. It's not all the stories. Stadium where we do stories, but they never make it on screen, you know, but it's because of various reasons. So, but what happens is while you're on production, say maybe go Northwest,
yes,
or Mpumalanga or KZN. So usually maybe something like 10 stories. Out of those 10 stories, if you're able to do all of them, wow.
But maybe if all of them make it to TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
So stories are bombing, so you can't find the perpetrators or whatever, or stories not checking out, whatever. So anyway, Harluko I'm sitting with one content producer. So ke amolela wa mpolela straight to Les. Pele di ya bomba. Stories are not. Tse re tletseng.
Stories are bombing. Yes.
So stories are bombing. Hey, no Rasheba no. So ke a kere mo the producer kere mo ena kere bona gona le makrizo mong. Salam polela no gona le stories so sa taxi ha e le gore gale it's a mile. It's been years now. And ena le sentimental value for ena ka lebaka la gore her husband died fighting that fight gore a thole taxi. So lena before ataka lena before a robala one day o batla to have that taxi back. So I had already given it to the producers, but because like a lot of stories come through at the same time, and also editorial decisions are made by other people. But anyway, the producer, she was not part of the team at that time, like Hanne Bates at the editorial, so she was not aware of that story. Although she was in and out. So they called her back because a lot of stories were bombing and they realized, oh no man, thing, she would make sure her things happen. So Kiaba meets her back. So Kiamola like a story say, ara, what's that? Ke story say. Kiaba phonela back the powers that be, the executive producers and then Babu Ali channel or no story so in. But okay, guys, Zamalo says Arboneng. It was the best story we've ever did.
Wow, that's amazing. Did the old lady get her car back?
Oh, yes, she did. So what happened is, we had to, or this guy, and a mechanic. Or so, the 4x4 nyana tse le gore ya bare keng gore di ajusted up
he applies his skill on his own cars.
He does. How is she be kare ke karagale mara daring ya va a gata fela gone.
You had to chase him.
We had to chase him.
Whoa.
So the more R37, the road between Polokwane, Lelebagom, or rather the road between Lelebagom and Beresford, but yeah, Monerle, go Lelebagom, just on the corner. Kopanlena daso. So I want to fella hore ke batho ba TV re tsaka di camera ke a ja fats. Ramshanisa di man. So I'm TV Saraso got to a point where hore ha re sa mona re feletse kae. So we can't see re feletse kae ke no man. Ke kasiaka man ke tsana le batho ke tsa di calls wa bona e bile they're capturing that on and I'm making calls ke fonela batho ba traffic department leng ke phone but and like hona le roadblock o mo mfa intel hona le roadblock ke tla ba bolela ko pele but
gore stop under man
da man after wa e bona roadblock ke hajika le ena o tseba di khona ka ofela na man hey ra tsamaya and o ke mo founetseng o founela ba bangwe go ra founela ba national provincial a founela go le ba but I think ba ne ba entse roadblock ke ba the city of
yes
hey I remember no like tsinking guys a re vang re go ena mara tla pakela fernyana
le memel
yeah lo and behold half at only 15 minutes I don't think gore nana gana re tla go and ke ko plotong wa bona hare wa re bona o le ka o tshaba ganti those guys magata ale kaofela le bantse ba mo tibisa le bona gore north west south east kaofela ke ya ba mme mo gareng so no ke lo bona magata gore the fact gore wa gore Spanish ha kana so ke ba kwatile ba re no o re ma charger o re tsamalena and that guy ke mo tshwele gore o na le is a snake catcher so o na le di noga and then apparently mo koloi nana le tlhware nyana o bona python mo la leng so ke re tshwile ke ba mo isa go stoki sing straight ira go Polokwane ba mo charge gore magata ka ofela each one o na le molato wa hae o na le o le rona ka mo ba re no kopa dia le ena pele go le guy
sawa
at an appropriate time at some point today kopa le be patient nyana re dile ka ena ba dila ka ena eventually ke ba re ka ena le rona ra dila ka ena ya no ra tsentse re antse di bo di fine le mo cause magrisa nentse le gala emetse
ka no kry o
patetse why one opatetse I think nearly 20,000 and kana ko ile koma yo ke khale koma maybe 8 years back can you go even now can you go back mo economy
let me tell you with 20,000 rands you will change my life
yeah
wow we hang out with Lesley Musina who is from the same place that's named after him or you are named after the place One of them. This is someone who's done a lot of work on TV. We're now talking about a show that he did, Speak Out. That had a huge impact on society, that show. And Mobango, he's been on all these TV shows, done a lot of voice work as well. So we're going to talk about not only his career, but also his life, his time in church, and everything that comes with it. At this stage in your life, go rana kereke. How about the tax, in case you're not aware? Churches don't pay tax. There you go. That's an idea. Churches shouldn't be paying petrol for petrol. So thank you, Tiam, for making time. And you know, your career is one of those, some of us watch it from a distance. There he is again. There he is on another show again. So when the call for you to come and through and hang out with us, I said, absolutely, he has to. And I think we postponed it once or so. So Askis. Askis, you're here now.
Yeah.
And I want to go back home. And every time I try to find out about you, I find this church part.
Okay.
Tell me about this young man who always says, I grew up in the church. What is that exactly? What does that entail?
Wow, you're taking me way back. So, literally, when I was born, my family never gonna go Methodist. So that's the church we used to go to. So I grew up singing hymns. Nekili, one of those boys at church, by Lohor, maybe an altar boy, or Lemuruti, right next to the pastor. So that was the story of my life when at an early age. However, at some point in my life, I think when I was about 10, my memaholo, my aunt who raised me most of my life, so who used to give my griza, le mamaholo, le mmewaka, but ke tlo kena mo mmewaka in a second. So yeah, I move like go Twendo. So as you said, I'm from Musina or Musina now. I was born and bred there. Marhakinali 10. So ke move ki loploma. Yeah. Le memaholo. She had gotten a government job. Got ding na giving away my age. Those homeland. So I did experience the homeland life a little bit, because I come from a small town, but then I went and lived go a homeland. But although I was staying Kotropong, but still, you know, weekends in a reko kreking and krekerona in a ilimo pleking ngwebitang horiki chifulanane. Okay. So wow, I'm grateful for that part and aspect. And it's only later that you get to appreciate in life everything that you went through. Hore, Hansi, this is what you are being molded into. This is what you're being prepared for. Gotcha. You only realize it the more whole. Okay, wow, okay. Like nothing just happens. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. So I spent a good 3 years there. And my mom used to go to church. We used to go to church all the time. So literally ne ke jwetsa batho ba ke ba bolela ke rene wa itse keng nna ne ke spenda weekend ko kerekeng ne re sa kerekeng fela ka sontaga. Every Friday how just ke lo tseba gore no, you're going to the mission house, and then every school holiday re go di crusade, would be traveling all over Limpopo, would be going all over. When they even went to Botswana, but I never went to Botswana at that time. Yeah, we'll get to that. However, so that really shaped me and molded me, especially when it comes to faith, what I'd like to call faith. Yeah. And Tumelo. And then, you know, you later learn, you know, through other faiths, and, you know, some people call it maybe the law of attraction, or, you know, you see these things and then you envisage them in your mind, envision them, and then, you know, you make them come to fruition. How? So I learned all of that. I'll give you just a quick story that I actually narrated in one of my motivational speaks, because I went back to the church, accessibly Lesley over to what TV. Yes. So I used to have this. I still have this hoverboard. You know, it's a self-balancing drifter, because that's what was written in the box when I bought it. So I came up with a whole motivational
around that.
You know, self-balancing drifter. I would break down those different words. So and how when I bought it, this guy taught me. So I juxtaposed it with the faith that my father, my pastor, taught me back then. You know, he was an educated man. He was a lecturer back then. In those days, In those days, it was highly unlikely to tell at that point it was going to cost, I think it was like $1 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money in the early 90s.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. So if you go bona makgoa ba ntse ba aga, these contractors ba aga so ke bongamla, wa fitla or he wore his best suit at the time. And he looked good. Wa fitla he was smelling good. Okay, so ke bona le aga mo. So le spana jwang. Ba mmolella gore no re spana so. Ba re no why o botsa re no ke na le lebala man. Ke na le a piece of land ko tlasnyana. It was about a kilometer away from there. But that's actually open land. We see that. It was just an open land, but so
that's where the church was conducted.
That's where the church was. And then he's like, no, I want to build a church. He had done his research, as I said, was a lecturer. So he knew
square meter.
But that's a very big church that you're looking for. Are you sure you can afford this?
Yeah.
But no, money is not a problem. At that time, my accounting maybe no 2,000 yan.
Not a problem.
A church cost $1 million.
Yeah.
At that time, I think it was about a 2,000 seater church.
Sure.
These guys were right. Yeah. But okay, a down payment, 50% before we start. And then a builder. Harifeta, or at some point maybe we'll refer 250 or something like that. And I said to Amy, and then Orife the balance.
The remainder, yes.
I don't know, money is not a problem. And then he sold us the vision as the church. He said, no, $1 million is a lot of money. Yes, it is. However, we are more than 1,000 mokerekeng. In fact, we are more than 2,000. So if 1,000 people can give 1,000 rand each, that's $1 million. Exactly. So anyway, and then we fundraised. Lynn, I remember my mom, mom Holwaka, means mama. So, I feel proud when I look at that building today. It's a city.
Still there.
It's still there. And then build more buildings around. There's a youth center. There's even an academy, where people do degrees, all of that thing. And I look at it, I'm like, wow, it is really possible. So that's the story of my life in essence. I have seen people build something out of thin air. Nothing. And Muruti, the fact that he used not only faith, but also ospaniste scalanya in a way. I calculate it, I break it down. 1,000 times 1,000, million. And some people, one person answer more than Babang one never at the time. 1.5, 2,000. I'm telling you, the first fundraising, Cheletele ilagena to $1 million. Wow. Literally, we were done. We thought maybe we're going to do a couple of in stages.
So it was once off.
They couldn't believe it. But Muruti, no, we working. And fast.
Yes. And then
wow. So yeah, so that's my story in a nutshell. And then I continued going to church. In fact, would go past here every Sunday, not very close to where you are. There's a church here, if I'm allowed to mention names.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
It's down the road.
The road. So yeah, man. But the interesting that so I've gone through different stages in my life where and it's good. I feel like, but I've never gotten to a point where I've ever doubted higher power or God's existence. I have questioned methodologies and how people do certain things, but I have also questioned all those things.
Yeah.
But I have seen mudimuti that much.
Yes.
No.
So the story of the church is one of many.
It's one of many. There are many stories. I saw blind people recovering their sight. Wow. People getting off their wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So I feel sad because now I've seen like I've seen people unfortunately crippled or disabled for I have seen all of that. So
before these churches became charismatic, and before they became big band, big sound system, because that's long before that.
It's long. You're right. It's long before that. And then there was a euphoria really, because I mean at that time we're coming from the mainline churches, and then
Anglican, Roman Catholic. Yes.
So and then there was a big wave, like there was a revival, so to speak. So church, but at that time, they see the way, but they still followed the mold from the from the mainline churches. And later on, of course, TJX, all this I can go on. However, so like everything, like there's bound to be some perversion. There's bound to be a business opportunity. And so bad.
No.
For example, I don't know what's a problem king. Le how bona only a prophet one nete o kgona bona leng. It's not always mo ile gore modimo kapo eng o tlo bontsha or o tlo kgona bona. So but now because people have been selling this thing, the miracles, prophecy, so that's what people want to hear. People don't want to hear the word.
No.
But what
they want their lives to change overnight.
Yes. So that's why they end up to the dark side. I feel like, but
have you noticed also that it's easy for us as Batho to be attracted to those the excitement of the nothingness, yet we believe our lives will change because you're living your life, ordinary life, it's tough, it's got its challenges like all of us. And then you could be working harder, you could be waking up earlier, you could be spending that extra 300 rands on something that will empower you for the future. However, you'd rather take that 300 rands and go give it to a pastor because you believe your salvation, in inverted commas, rests in his hands. So that's another problem that we're facing, where we think someone is going to come and save me.
Yeah, that's a sad part, Elor Hakesheva. It's a weakness in humans that other people are exploiting. Because Babana desperate, highly desperate. They will do anything for healing or for success or microwave wealth. It just comes overnight. Nothing comes overnight. But and it's quite sad. Now we've gone through that. There was a crusade at some point, but crusade. There was this euphoria. I remember I had this watch that I love so much, and then I don't know, I was a bit, what could I do?
Yes.
However,
it's a giving, it's a donation, it's a sacrifice.
It's a donation, and people do a lot of that. Look, it's good to give, but I don't think we should be giving to a point where and then
they're left with nothing.
Muruti na o shapo, o ja shapo, le bana ba hae. Ke mo le na ke no mara guys and ka bo ena o thola hore a se motho a fanang or so not rather go to a church where o thola hore muruti le ena leads by example. Then ntho tse buang ka tsona ke tsona tse a di etsang le ena gore when he's talking about giving, kaboni she's talking about giving, le ena they are big givers.
Absolutely.
The kids that they've taken to school, all these things, or these are like, so not rather have respect for Mutomo Jalo or no, at least in Champla Lanka or Leana Pela. You can see he's a living
example. Yes, yeah. I want to start and go back in time. Go to where you were born. Describe that place. Were you born in Musina, as we then called it? Were you born there?
I was born and bred in Musina. Both my parents are from there. And that's where I'm from. It's a small town, but now it's probably like the biggest small town.
The biggest small town in Limpopo.
Ever there was like literally
a concept like that.
It's like a mini Josiana or Gauteng. There's a lot of things happening. It's a border town, so there's always in transit. There's a lot of activities going on. Even back then, Sahola, but yeah, it was not as it is now. And also, Hape, it's a mining town. It's always been a mining town. In fact, became a town, they discovered copper there.
Yes.
And my people, Batoha Musina, are the ones that discovered the mineral, copper.
What?
In prehistoric times.
Yes.
So, now, even when you go into the history books and whatnot, the Musinas, we are the ones that discovered copper. But we discovered it by default. We were looking for iron ore.
Okay.
So while, my forefathers were digging, they found another metal. So when they found that metal, so they would smelt it, and then by melter, it would melt a lot quicker than iron ore. And that's when they called it the spoiler, Musina. So they named it after themselves.
Wow. That's amazing. So, but you're saying it was incorrectly named in the beginning.
Yes.
In about Messina.
Yeah.
And over time, that correction was done.
Yeah. So, Kalabakala, because of, I guess, colonization, because it goes even further than before apartheid. So, Kalabakala colonization, it was just settlements and then farms, and then lema buru mabloma. So when it became a town, I guess Mahwabela decided Messina.
They named it.
They named it how they would say it, because it's always a corrupt. Like, for example, I saw you also interviewed that Matule Motseha. Laugh so much. I listened to that man. There's a part Musina. I was like, this man knows my history. So I was listening. I also listened, for example, without diverting too much. So Unabuaka, at some point when they decided to rename the northern province, which is Limpopo today. So Ndade Matule was pushing Tabahore, that province should be named Mapungubwe, province Kalabakala, because of the rich history of Mapungubwe that you find, incidentally, in Musina. It's part of Musina municipality. So the reason why he was advocating for that and not advocating for Limpopo, although Limpopo, the name was very popular, because obviously you've got the Limpopo River and whatnot. So, but his schism or his disagreement with that, or Iska name went to Limpopo, was because Limpopo is a corrupted version of Libombo.
Yeah, okay. Tembisa.
Yeah, exactly. So because Maputukes Nakuila go the Libombo Mountains. There was a Libombo, so they would say Limpopo. So then the name stuck, even for the river that runs from the Indian Ocean, all the way through, towards Botswana and all of that, the Limpopo River, which basically you can almost say that it runs almost through the perimeters,
the province.
The province.
Yes.
So that's how it got to be named.
Look at now, we have those who call it Limbombo. So already there's another butchering of the name. So should certain people become powerful, easily it could change and becomes Limbombo or Mapumalanga. You see how names, I guess, evolve with time. So Messina was exactly that. It became Messina because of people's ability to pronounce it.
Yeah.
It was Messina.
Yeah. And also because, they had the financial muscle, and they had all of that to do it because of the history of the time. It would allow them, to name it into that. But what I'm just grateful for, although maybe someone might argue with me, is that they didn't go veer too far off from what it actually originally was, Musina.
I would argue against that.
Okay.
No, completely.
Sure.
It should stay what it should be.
100%.
Because if a slight change remains a change all the same.
100%.
I've said it so many times on the radio because it really irritates me. How we've accommodated this strange writing of Kyalami with a KY. Nothing like that exists in our languages.
Yeah.
And yet we know what Kyalami means. It means my home.
100%.
And yet no language in Africa would write it KY, KYA. But we've accepted it and we moved on. If I ever start a campaign, I would change Kyalami Tembisa.
Okay.
It's something else altogether. So that's why I get it. Keep it as authentic. And I'm glad that eventually it became what it's supposed to be.
I agree 100%. But what is also said for us, or maybe interesting, is that this current generation, this is for example, Honano, we are busy with land claims. Imagine the town is named after us. But we still have to go and present our case. And then Barno Zamanleo identify Mabitla Abo Raholo Kukubalona. And then we have to go to all these farms, you know, and identify the graves and all of that. And so it's quite a rigorous process. My father passed on in 2024 before he could realize that dream, you know, of actually ensuring that land, you know, it's our forefathers' land.
It's claimed correctly.
It's claimed correctly. Even ma Rangwanwa Kalena, Tata Johannes Musina, who was an academic, and he was the one like to really follow these things. He also passed on, unfortunately. But I hope that before I depart from this world, that we will, you know, get our restitution, that we will get things right, we'll ensure that the next generation, at least Libona, they get what is due to them, because that is our land.
Do you feel the burden of getting it right?
Do
you carry that moralo?
I do, especially feeling next to be honest. Mara ke realize no, I even have this chat. Mara do you realize hore hona no ke rona mataima. You know, ke rona ma uncle. You know, I even tell my sisters and you know the cousins, do you get it? Ke rona borangwane, ke rona ba raparang di bike no, ha re lo negotiate bo di lobola and lo tse di soleng. So it also means hore we have a lot of responsibility that we need to live up to. And one of those for our family is exactly that, where we need to ensure that we redress the injustices of the past.
That's true.
And one of those is the issue of land. We're still really fighting for, and I know a lot of communities in and around South Africa. And
that is a different commission all on its own.
Yeah.
All on its own.
Yeah.
Something that you raise that stands out for me is the sudden realization that you're the elder in the family. So when did you realize that exactly?
Okay, my son is turning 13 this year.
Okay.
So he was born the same year that Tata Madiba passed on. In fact, he was born a few days. He was born 2 days before Tata passed on. He was born on the 3rd of December.
Yes.
2013. Tata passed on the 5th of December. Yeah. I even contemplated at some point to name him after him. But it's going to be too cheesy. It's going to be too, you know.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
There are people who've been named Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
You do what you have to.
100%. 100%. So when I had a son, it didn't quite hit me at the time. But okay,
you still felt like you're still young.
No, I'm still young. You know, but things started changing also for me. I was a bit worried at the time. You know, I was just freelancing, so I was worried. What am I gonna? But what I learned from that is that every child comes with their own blessings. Every child, because blessings. So he came with his own blessings. My life, the moment I made peace with the fact my life changed. Like even for the better. Left, right, and center. I'm doing endorsements, and that's even also around the time that I was doing. You spoke about Muvango in your introduction. Even before that, I did a Scandal. You know, one of the most long-running shows. Unfortunately, it's come to an end. But however, I got a wonderful, nice gig there. You know, it was a recurring role. I did so many things at that time. Producers. There was a time where I was shooting Mubango le Scandal at the same time. I'll start with Scandal, usually in the morning. Then by 1,
you had one of those situations.
Yeah. So I must rush from the other side, go Balfour Park, you know, Highlands North, that side, and run to Auckland Park. Go
Henley or around that area.
Exactly there. Exactly Henley. You know, I'll tell you another story, Henley, interestingly, with the show that I'm doing now. I'll get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really a hectic time, but blessings, and I wouldn't sleep. In fact, I would, however, because usually I'd finish at 6 and then or the other way around, but sleep. And then you go back to scripts again. Weekends we spend on scripting, and then you're planning, there's a different storyline and all of that. However, even during all of that, I didn't quite hit me, going back to your question, when
did you realize?
Because my father was still around, my mom, thank God my mom is also still around, my mom, all these people. So it hit me when my father passed on. And that was just 2 years ago.
And it's not long ago.
2024.
So you just come into your adulthood.
I literally just came into my adulthood. Maybe it hit me late, I could say. But.
No. I think you're better off. It hits you only mentally ready. Because if you think ukurut mane, but your actions are still tzadintwana, then ukurut mane, you're going to disrupt the flow of this thing.
100%.
Wow. And in terms of your setup at home as a young boy, you say there was bo and all of that, but you also make reference to me. Give me that time when you were a kid. Who was home?
Okay. So my mom has always worked outside of our town. When I was young, she was actually working because she's from the Bavenda royal family.
Okay.
Our mom's side of the family, they are from that. So in those days, what would happen, because now we were under the central government, so if you wanted to go get a job, go Venda or Leboa or Gazankulu, and you are from a place like Musina back then, Musina now, you would have to get an ID, and it was a whole rigorous process. But how they must prove, or if it's your grandparents, they must prove. So for her, luckily, because they are from the royal family, I remember when she went to live Kotoyando, and the president at the time of the Republic of Venda, who was her uncle, may his soul rest in peace. A visionary, Raholo Patrick Mpepu, Raman Mpepu. So my grandmother, her mom, this is not my mom, so they went to the royal house. Then Havafi Klamola, it was during the day. My grandmother left that area where the royal Bavenda family is in Tanani when she was young. And she went to live in Musina, and even then she was Namatela like Ashanela, her mom. Her mom had just left these two daughters, and because Nelima Namakobo she couldn't take them with them. Apparently her husband, Neli, an educated man who was next in line to be king, so he had a chip on his shoulder, and Nagelezize apparently so he was very and also he's next in line, so he was very arrogant and all of that. So my great grandmother, my paternal great grandmother, just took off and left her kids. At some point, their story is so painful. They walked, and then until I feel go railway, somewhere and go. I think Willisport, is a place where there are those tunnels. They're still called Hendrik Vervoet tunnels. Even up to that, I don't know why that needs to be changed. Yeah. So anyway, so they caught a train, and then and they didn't have money. So likely there was this other old man who knew their mother. And I know where your mom is. And in those days, luckily, the way thing, people were still trustworthy.
You could travel long distance safely. Yeah.
And then he took them to their to their mother, and that's how they found their mother and continued living there with their mother. So then coming back to the story where my mom and my grandmother went to see the king. At that time, it was paramount chief, because what happened during Nakwa Apartheid, they had abolished the kingship. So there was no king. Although
they became chiefs.
Yeah, they became chiefs.
Yeah.
But in the Bavenda royalties or traditional idiosyncrasies, they always knew, Hori, this is the king. Because you've got all these paramount, you've got the king, and then you've got paramount chiefs, and then you've got chiefs, and then you've got headmen, you've got all of that, just that order of hierarchy.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, when she got there, or when they got there, Bamsanda Bofama, he's sleeping. They use royal
Bamsanda.
Yeah. And then Bofama in a royal lexicon is that he's taking a rest, he's sleeping.
Yes.
And the rule is no one wakes him up while he's resting, because he was a hardworking man. He was the paramount chief, and also he was the president of a republic back then. He's the one, incidentally, who started that other bank that went the troublesome bank.
Yes.
So he's the one, and he had gotten that idea from another one of my legends. I like studying those guys. Mangope, Re Lucas Manyani Mangope Lena. So he had learned it from Re Mangope when he went to Putatswana.
Yeah.
He was doing something similar. Then he just made it into something else big until it became a bank. It was on the brink of literally becoming a commercial bank. But anyway, that is his legacy. So, because those people, what they were doing, they were using Nebasabedis traditional leadership.
Okay.
So all those values and that they have and that they have learned growing up from their forefathers, they used it in governance as well. That's why they were uncorruptible.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
That's why they speak very, unfortunately, how when you listen to their speeches, they used to speak ill of some of the politicians and all of that.
Of course.
Well, because
these ones from prison. These ones from prison.
When they've always been royalty, but anyway. So, but they remembered Horno. Yo, Chamano, that was my grandmother. Remember, he was Ramano. She was Chamano. So she had raised him, like literally she was like his older sister, basically.
Got you.
So they are like, he has mentioned, or if you ever come back home, under no circumstances, wherever he is in the world, we must call him, he will come back.
Okay.
But this time he's sleeping. But because it's you, and they went and walked. So like under no circumstances, we should never.
Yeah.
But they made an exception because they had told them before, if my sister ever comes back, and she had been gone for decades. Oh, he was so excited. It's like, how do you guys leave? I mean, papalona. No, but you guys are about what are we supposed to do? You know, what can I do for you? I don't know. Wanaka Spani, what no, get into a simple tata. Get into roba no. Driver, no, go and look. But one side that we own.
Yes.
You can choose any of them that you want.
Wow.
And then she went and chose a beautiful house there, and then she was living there. So anyway, my mom Nante Aspana, like a hola, but she would come back during school holidays, and I mean whenever she was on holiday or leave, she would always come back. But one thing I remember growing up about my mom that I feel like she taught me. My mom.
She was well dressed.
My mom is beautiful. Like,
do you ever find out where she got the dress sense?
She said she got it from her mom.
Okay.
So there's a few pictures when she was a young lady.
Yes.
But style. So
but you said ndugus.
Yeah, ndugus. Straight. So that's one of my memories about my mom. And then also my mom later on so my parents were not married.
Yes, I picked up when you telling, because you speak more about one and not the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I've always had access to both my mom and my dad, as much as because we all lived in the same town. However, so my mom, I was in high school at the time, and Rustenburg, you know. So I would go to Rustenburg during school holiday. So I was in between
the two worlds.
Yeah, the two worlds. Well, one. So Rustenburg, it's home. I always go there. And then Mama you're like one of us. We just every school holiday. I used to come here. I used to come and visit. And my mom, and it was not even visit because it's where my mom lived. So and they're like, oh, okay, all right.
Did she have other kids through this marriage?
No, she didn't have other kids.
Yeah.
Although I do have a younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a younger brother.
From where? The dad?
Yeah. No, okay. So my younger brother's dad, it's someone else.
Yes.
But now, he knows his dad.
Yes.
And that's one thing maybe I should touch on. One thing that I always appreciate about my mom, and also when I look into my family, even with my brother, they were told the truth. And my mom was like, look, you are free, and but also because my dad was there in my life. My dad was there throughout. My dad was there throughout my life.
So you never felt like you didn't have a connection to him?
No. I always had a connection there. And I was even talking at his funeral, the things that I learned from my dad. And even with my other siblings, from the other side. But one thing my dad would always do, my dad was, he was a disciplinarian. He used to be a police officer back then. Yeah. But but one thing that I always did, for example, maybe Christmas, then he would give my brother, I'm a guy, 20 ranta. It was a lot of money back then.
Of course.
In the late 80s, and then I'm 50 ranta, get it. Okay, cool. But I suppose he was trying to kind of make up because next time you full time, so to speak.
Okay.
But he really supported me. He was there, and even later, model ceiling, he was there. He made sure I got whatever I needed. So I never felt a void. So that's why when I do stories like for me, or rather when I do a show like that, for me, I can relate as much as my dad was there, and which I appreciate, I truly appreciate. And I was all about someone does not even know who their dad is, and you must help them find their dad. Sometimes, the DNA tests, so those things really they mess up with your psyche.
Absolutely, a show like that, because there's another version of it done by Nimrod.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of it now. Similar concept. Tatako, exactly. So those moments are tough, where the results have to be revealed and things like that. What was the format of Eksukmepa?
The format was, in fact, they tried to move away from Tatako, basically.
Yeah.
Tatako, I know, I think every episode, although I watched a few episodes, Nimrod Lena, one of my heroes that I look up to.
Absolutely,
you're amazing guy. I'll get into it, but just to touch on him a little bit. So when I was doing a show back then in the day, there was a show called Mind the Gap, which was a travel show. So the guy that I was the cameraman, because in those days it would just be me and the cameraman.
That's when you were traveling the world, the country.
100%, traveling all over. So he would always tell me about Nimrod and teaching me all these skills and whatever. I don't know, Nimrod, kaya scripty or one and then he just rolls with it. He just allows his personality to come through. And I also got a chance to work with him on another show called I think it was Family Secrets. Actually, he's amazing. What a gentleman. I learned so much from him. Very disciplined. I'm not saying about disciplined. I'm just saying you see this man who is a complete teetotal, very calm, but when he gets in front of the camera, personality comes. So amazing guy. So anyway,
he gave us in this very room one of our best episodes.
Wow. Amazing man. So they tried to move away from the format Tatako. So what they did on Eksukmepa is that people write in, and this is about children looking for their fathers. Eksukmepa, as it says. So, however, it will be similar in that we go around and then we find who we believe could be the father, based on the information that we provided. But they also tried as much as possible to stay away from doing the DNA tests, because that's now going into the other show. So they tried so much, but some shows you couldn't help it. I think we did have a few episodes, maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and also because we're also shooting in situ. Literally, we are shooting, to broadcast. So we don't have a lot of time. These things.
It has to go now.
Hey. So when we are doing it, there was no luxury of time, because how it's about the DNA tests, depending on the backlog and all of that, the results. So we're trying to. But I remember one episode where we had to do a DNA test. So nearly a gentleman called Sia, and his mom on the assets Abloma Nastaliko High Eastern Cape, but had met a gentleman here in Joburg, Basantana Valley, I think Bali Varsity, or So, but anyway, Menarbo, and then we look for the father, and then we believe we found the father. Because everything she told us checked out. And because these guys, the researchers are amazing. They're very good. Like they're investigators.
Because to be looking for someone needle in a haystack throughout the country.
There's all sorts of things that they need to ascertain and to eventually get to a point where, no, this is the father. And then we found him.
What?
And when we found him, hey, like we're more structure sasiya le ntato hayo ra no batho ba bona so ba bua, and at that time le ena ha sa hopola oledio wa bona mara wa spana ke le gata man, can hear as a senior police officer what's about the story sa, and he was asking like serious questions about Zamara, not in an arrogant manner, about lo tseba hore no, to be honest, aksa hopola ne re le bana ne re dintwana na go tsele le botoki le ba teng, mara to be honest aksa hopola. So we had to go get Sia's mom, or at least call her, what Sia didn't know at the time, go actually mewa hai ne a chaketsi abutu hai.
Okay.
Mujozi. Because he called his brother, she didn't have a phone. The mother phone like, hey, utata no mama. Okay, I know. Bentata na no, call no mama. How? So we quickly rushed. Ramalata, Ratalena.
What are the chances of that happening?
Chances? So I feel mola. Hanguya man. Guya.
Who remembers the mom?
The mother. Or one. Like billing Maroto Milan, do you love Nyana? I'm a sheva. And then she was like, at some point during the interview, like in the middle, maybe it's a link in
Yeah.
So we asked her, and then she explains, then
the guy
starts coming back, or no, I wanna okay, hopefully also in hey, but yeah, okay. Then he's like, I sent her a DNA test, and it is right.
100%.
We did that. The results, the mom was also still around. And Hadibuwa. Linda don't get to, the other thing is, we don't get to see them.
The reveal. Yes.
Reveal, exactly.
Yeah.
So we don't reveal them. It's not like Hagitretsa show, I know what is going to happen at the end. I don't as well.
So you're going to be surprised like everybody?
No, yeah. Because Babatla, those genuine reactions and emotions and all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But Nalina, I actually believed her.
Yeah.
Hakibula. Ooh. He says, or no, I still time malaha.
Oh boy.
I could see even more social media a trend. But once I figure out that the hike mang and barno na anali me, which came out in the story during the story. No, meolabu no anali me so barki mamang arya okay. But unfortunately he died.
Yes.
I don't know, he did die, and unfortunately, but so no barno let amal again. Oh no, too shock.
Hey man, it's crazy how that happens where all the factors point in this direction.
Yeah.
But then the truth, science says, well, sorry, you missed it this time.
I learned.
However, your point, you're saying, posture, mom remembers everything. However, the science saying not.
Yeah. Look, it's a very painful thing. And it also took me back, Linda, because I did have something similar. It was also in the media back then. It was back then in the day. I think I was still doing Mubango at the time. I had raised a child and raised him. He was 5, but I always doubted Hore. I don't want to make men think, but
so you also. But why did you doubt? You doubted because you knew better, I guess.
I knew better.
Yeah.
Everything, when okay, it's an adult show, we can talk about it. When you always use protection, maybe you would have an incident, 1 or 2, where maybe there was a slip up, but not slip up in terms of maybe when a protection.
This I know.
Resting, then you're like, no, but we understand. Yeah. But we always maintained, and then there was also a plan B. In the first instance, and then the second time around, but and then you're like, no, but then you're like, and also I was convinced by the mother side of the family, like the sisters I remember, and even the grandmother. Wow, but I'd never forget the words that she said to me. And the story, as much as it's painful, but I learned so much. So the grandmother. The grandmother of
the lady.
Of the lady, yeah. Or her mother, in this case.
Okay.
So the grandmother of the boy, whom was
supposedly yours, yes.
I spoke to her once, and she was very calm. Like, but she was not judgmental, nothing whatsoever. Because a lot of things happened, and unfortunately, that child went through a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, so she basically saved his life. She basically saved his life.
So you hung around in that setup.
Yeah, I did.
With the belief and everything.
With the belief,
and even you're starting to see resemblance.
Yeah. But that doubt would never leave my mind. As much as it would disappear for even a year or whatever, it would never dissipate. It will constantly keep coming back to say, but just go do paternity test so that you are sure.
Did you get there?
I eventually did.
Oh boy.
And when I did, lo and behold, he was 5 at the time. I said, yeah, there's this things about Lili's probability of paternity of 0.1. Whoa. Not. So, but there are some things that are similar there. So I even asked the guys, because you never get to meet the people that actually do the test for obvious reasons. I mean, the people that take the swabs, and in this case, the sample they took was Nelimati. However, you never get to meet those people, and for good reason. Because so that no one start thinking, or there was maybe some corruption involved. They're very thorough.
True.
In terms of this exercise, but you'll get to speak to them once the results are out.
Okay.
You can call them.
Yeah.
And they'll explain everything step by step, how they arrive at that conclusion.
Yeah.
So I was like, but okay, Mara, when you look at the numbers here, it's similar. But all human beings, we are all going to have similarities.
True.
Especially in within your racial group, for example. There's a lot of things that we are similar with. Even sometimes, even beyond. I was even watching recently. Even beyond some people, you might have something more in common. Someone from China.
Hey, man.
Yeah, for example, DNA is amazing.
Yeah.
And Jaimesi. So no, we all do, kind of have similarities. We will take your sample and we'll take samples from other men. Usually maybe from within your race group and whatever, but even then already compare. And when we compare those, we arrive at a conclusion to be able to tell how. There's no way that can.
But surely that must have been a complicated life experience.
Ooh.
Because you were part of their lives.
Yeah. And I always look back into that story or that aspect of my life, because that's a lived experience. Very painful, but at the time when I discovered that, because I always had doubt. So I kind of knew it might go this way, but I never in my head get concluded it's about
that far from the truth.
I think I was more like, oh no, maybe 90% or 95%. There's just that 5% yana doubt. The reality is actually the exact opposite.
Sure.
It's like two completely different worlds. So, but I still wanted to I had bonded with Lingwana. The child didn't do anything wrong. I tried as much as I could to still be a part of his life, but Mewahai had issues Nerolwana because but how would I? We went together. You and I went there together.
Yeah.
You had a chance the details. You can go to your doctor, sit with your doctor, they'll explain everything step by step, how they get to that point.
And we can do the test.
We can do another one. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I said. And we did it at a private, not that government is, no. But talking about government mahala maybe. No. They do a thorough job. Went to a private institution, we can go anywhere. Okay, you choose. It's fine.
Yes, where you control the narrative.
The narrative. But I was like, no. But the saddest part about that, the end of the story, I feel monati.
Yeah.
So how it ends, unfortunately, remember he was 5 when we did those tests. When he was 7, and Shaman, on his first day of school, he called me.
The little one.
Yes. Hey baba, ngiyasikoleni, yabona ngijabule kakhulu, yabona gqoka uniform ini. Oh wow, man, I was touched. Oh.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that very same year, they were playing and there were no adults supervising them.
Yeah.
There was a truck that was parked by a neighbor who was drunk. It was on a Sunday. I remember during the day I get a call, hey, you need to come to Bronkhorstspruit, Dark City. No, something has happened. Change the direction.
Yeah.
Very good friend of mine, still my very good friend, Bonga Dlamini. Even when we went to get the results, he was there. So Bonga understands the story aspect of my life really well. He's also an actor. Anyway, so we go there. Yeah, unfortunately, Ngwana, as you can imagine, very tragically fell off a moving truck. So the driver drove off, and then as he drove off, but of which apparently had said several times, or no, follow Sangbana. And because they were all kids, the oldest child there at the time, I think maybe was like 12 or 13. And then man. And then there were 2 kids. It was my son, big, and then it was his cousin. And when the cousin was explaining, who was also of a similar age, he was about 8, I think, at the time. So when he was explaining the story, like he was holding onto the truck. It's like, unfortunately.
So the truck moved.
He moved
yes.
at such a ferocious pace. And then died. But I always look back into that kid was an angel, man.
Yeah.
He was here to teach me a lot about life. He was here to teach me, because it's, as much as we talk about paternity, but a father is not always someone that has given birth to you biologically. And a son or a daughter or a child is not someone that you've given birth to biologically. I believe that boy chose me. He had chosen me to be his father, and he was not going to be around for long. God or the universe always knows these things. So those lessons are for us to learn. So that's why exactly kabana.
No.
That's why hey, baby mama, hey. No. Like,
because you understand the value of that relationship.
I do.
That's crazy, eh?
I do.
But what lesson, other than what you've just told us, stands out about the time you spent with him? This little one.
Wow, there's so many beautiful memories that I could talk about. And even my mom, my mom, I think, was reliving the experience of not being so much there in my early stages of life. So my mom would sacrifice. Atsoko Rustenbeck, aya bronco sprayed. On the other side of the end. I'm trying diaparo, diphatlo tse sharpo. Like, as I've said, my mom has always been stylish and hona saver. So maybe not really buy whatever. So I'm saying diaparo, like diaparo tse proper. So I remember that a lot. But we did lay him to rest. We did the best that we could.
Yeah.
I believe that he's my guardian angel. What he is, because, and even Mama Kholo said at his funeral, look, as much as this is very painful, but we as a family can always o shila na sebe nas skoloto nasa lwale motho
asa
khupisa motho. So this boy is an angel. He was here to teach us.
And the relationship with the mom, I guess that entire process of finding out the truth surely must have ruptured what you had, and even the people who loved the child from your side, when they find out that it's actually not your child. Surely that your mom who would buy stuff for him, that must have been something else.
I think even for them it could have been worse. To be honest, because you develop a bond, and even as much as you explain to them, and it took me a while. I don't even remember how I did it, but it took me a while to explain it, because I knew how much it's going to crush them.
Sure.
Are they strong enough to handle it? At least now I was there in the process. I knew every step of the way what had happened. Although, of course, maybe there was a missing link in terms of and all of that. Mara, I always and I did get counseling even before this and after, to make sure
you can handle it.
I can handle it. And then for Warner, coming from me, how is it gonna? So it was very, very painful. Even my dad, I remember when I told him, like, he didn't say anything. My dad was like, like, get sure when I told him, it was just
literally
yeah.
Wow.
It was so unbelievable. However, it's lessons of life. That's why when I do a show like Eksuk Ba, and there was this other boy and I were dealing with a show where the father didn't want anything to do with him. If you watch that episode, I think it was Father somewhere. So when you watch that episode, you can see and we'd gone the previous season, the previous host and the previous team, which was pretty much the same team. Basically, it was just a different host. They had gone there several times. I think they went there twice.
Even before you came.
Even before me.
Yeah.
So I came in, and I think we got him on my third time, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
So already and unfortunately there's no happy ending.
Sure.
Because they had their own issues. I think familiar those things. Those things should not be affecting kids.
The kids. We miss that, eh?
Yeah.
As adults.
Yeah.
Now we miss that.
Yeah.
Hana pause. So you said it even earlier. Hana pause.
Hana pause.
Nix.
If you think about it, Jorge, how many people are struggling out there to conceive, to have children, and God has given you that opportunity. I mean, we shouldn't take those things for granted. Yo, Motu is something really special. I mean, we are all made, without sounding too much like Muruti, we're all made in the image of God. Yes. And each and every one of us is here for a reason. Yeah. And homework yarona, I suppose, or what is constant homework, is that the reason, the purpose why we are here. And
that's tricky, my man. I'm still trying to find why I'm here.
Yeah.
Going back again to Musina, there's clearly a moment in your life that kind of dictates the career that you took. Can you recall moments like that in some form, even long before it became clear this is maybe where I'll end up, you already in some form, maybe acting or playing in front of people? Normally, when I ask this question, we find out when they were young. But a lot of the ladies are making papa, making nonsense.
Yeah.
So what do you recall?
Look, I think we are all performers, especially when we're kids. We all have it in us inherently, especially to mimic whatever we see. Whatever we see around us. I mean, even after maybe Bushability movie, but it's a karate. You feel so powerful or not, so you feel like, you can take
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
We all felt like Bruce Lee.
We all felt that way. And also, we are all creatures of habit. So whatever we see around us a lot. So we grew up in an area of MacGyver, no Matuke, whatever, they know McG. But MacGyver, like
one more
TV on us, like you could make fire out of nowhere, and when I start the kolo is na petrol or when I lot of soling and maybe like I enter Mautwana, it's like a rim, it's a mosporong.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because you know how I remember, because in those days, Nakonna, we're one of the first few people to hobale mutla. So but to never zwakala konna so but lo shebella TV. But the one I remember, there was one who had it nearly TV black and white before us. Ya rona ile color incidentally our first TV. But ne re dumela so no thola ntlo itletse o bona ne ke di forum nako tsele re shebile one e wolf lo mamaleng even bo lesilo rula, all these stories bo Matswakabele. We used to watch those things religiously. We used to follow those things, so they shaped a lot of my childhood, and I guess yours as well, and a lot of us, they shaped our childhood. So I would always watch those things. However, I used to like watching newsreaders, like your anchors. Lesley.
Of course.
So because we shared the same name, didn't know a lot of Leslies. There's a bit of a awkward name for
where you grew up. It wasn't common. Yes.
No, it wasn't common. So I wanna be a presenter or maybe so what I would do, then and in front of the mirror. And then kinale scriptinyana, I can say in those days I think the Rankadi magazine, so let's just khale.
Yes, born
about pacey. Hey, born. Kibahala. And then kinkele wireless ya high. Or wanna kinkele tape, get the record, and I listen back. And then I would play it, and everyone would love it. And they give a and then so yeah, but I never really thought it's something that I'm gonna turn into a career to be. In fact, I actually applied back then. Go around South Afrikaans University Drau, what is UJ today, University of Johannesburg. I wanted to study psychology, and they had accepted me. But I was like, it was not my thing, So I ended up not going through with it. Yeah. However, then I started out as an extra. I was an extra on a number of sets. So you came to Joburg? I came to Joburg.
Before we get to the extra, the journey to Joburg, what informed that?
Yeah. What informed the journey to Joburg really is that I failed my grade 11 at some point, and I feel because I got sick, I had with chicken pox, and I couldn't write my exams, but also I was not as disciplined, I guess, as I later in life became. And I was quite bright, koskolong, but sometimes I would, lack a little bit, and then I had to repeat grade 11. I didn't want to do that because my classmates at the time, or not my classmates, but my age mates, I don't remember. I think I repeated 2 grades. I was like, no, I'm not going to repeat a second grade at some point. Yeah. So I decided, no, I'm going to study, get a correspondence at the time. And then I remember everyone was against it. No, go and repeat. No, guys, I'm not going to go and repeat. So Batwa, Takataka at the time, they're now going to varsity.
And when I said that?
Like said that, no, it can't be. I decided over here. But I was studying.
Who did you go to?
Yeah. So with 2 friends, one of them unfortunately is late now. He was my neighbor, Kohai. He's all rest in peace. Abraham Masindi, and the other one, Dominic Tando. So and then so never told the room where Hill brother.
They were going to study.
Yeah, they were studying. Yeah, they were studying at Technicon SA, and then back then, which is now part of UNISA, and then Omungana Liko Vets Tech, which is now part of the University of
UJ. Yes.
So I did my matric. So I did my matric through correspondence. So every day without fail, I would wake up, go to City Library, Potropong. So I'd walk from Hillbrow. So walking around Leona and Tutila was very good at geography as well. So after about a week or so, I think I could literally draw you the whole map.
of Hillbrow.
Downtown Joburg.
Yes, wow.
Hillbrow, Perea, Yeovil, Marshalltown, Potropong, Ramfontein. Coming to Auckland Park, I could draw you map what thing.
You were still a kid.
Yeah, because my mind was still very sharp. So anyway, so I would every day I would go and study. Yeah. And then that's how I did my matric. I passed.
Wasn't there strong resistance to this kid who wants to go Mahoing?
Yeah.
Go Gauteng.
Yeah.
And I pass. Arobala.
Yeah.
And Odula Chumza.
Yeah. But again, I guess the same discipline that I was taught growing up really helped me a lot. And as much as the other guy, Lena, he was studying through correspondence. Lena, he was doing the same thing. Natsoha, Ayako, Florida at the time. So now I would go to downtown Joburg. So as much as now they were doing first year, Nakaza Matric, but would encourage each other.
Yes.
And also, I must tell you a story, a very interesting one that I think South Africans in general will relate with. So my neighbor, the one whom I said passed on, so go next door. They used to own this football team called Chelamoya Highlanders.
Okay.
So while they're owning that team, go next door, his Mangwani at the time, Manya High, Nesatilena, who's running it because her brother who started it, he passed on. So Kehai Trohela, his younger sister. So Lesley Manyatela, the late Lesley Manyatela, was playing for Orlando Pirates at the time. Okay, no, he was playing for Chelamoya, right? Then he was loaned out to Dynamos, I believe. And then he was signed ka Chiefs at first. So I signed ka Chiefs Simola. Then he was also signed ka Pirates. There was a bit of a mix-up. It was a whole back and forth. However, eventually he went to Pirates. I think they were able to sit down and have an arbitration of sorts, and then they worked it out. But this is how he contributed. So ha baiwa raso ka Pirates. Mania Masindi came to Joburg because they had to be part of the negotiations link. And then once the money was paid and whatever, I don't know which one was it, Cheleta Chiefs, but anyway, one of the teams paid. She bought us a computer, a PC.
Yeah,
that PC really helped us. And I mean, early 2000, 26 years ago.
Yeah.
So, we fed it with all these software at the time that we had.
MS-DOS.
Hey!
All of that stuff.
So we would study, and then we use it, the assignments or the projects and whatever. I remember I was also studying online. So it really, really, really did help us a lot.
Yeah.
Basically. May his soul also rest in peace.
That's amazing how those tiny moments, because you're talking about a big big-time soccer player
Yeah.
whose money made a huge difference in your life in a way that you couldn't have anticipated.
We could have never anticipated that. And I mean, he was the same age as I am. So we grew up together, although he grew up in a different side, ya Kokasi, Koskonplasi, Nansfield. And we always had a rivalry growing up. But I remember very well because we'd always play against them. I was not that much of a soccer player, but with karate, so I was very good at those things. So we'd always, so I watched him. We watched him.
Slowly.
He was a protege. And these things you can always see, like he was able to do things at an early age that his age mates couldn't quite do.
Yeah. And
even by the time then he was like 14, 15, because he was so tall, he was playing with the senior players and scoring lots of goals. And he would play whatever position. First half, and I'm talking about maybe at that time Chelamoya was maybe go third division or whatever. So it was not like Ilwalwa leagues, but it was like first half adlale go backline and then second half I go pale.
Yeah.
So the coach
confused the enemy.
And they were also protecting him because they knew he was going to be targeted by Lomo Targeta.
Yeah.
And that money in a half, I shape maybe 2-3 goals. And then even when he went to Dynamo's, shape like 4 goals and so it's something that was inherently in him. He was born with that, and then he was there at La Pirates. He played for Bafana in such a short space of time. I mean, he died when he was 22.
Still young.
But he left such an indelible mark.
Whose name we don't forget.
100%.
So you are in Joburg, you studied, you passed your matric.
I do.
Fortunately. Because they were not disciplined. But what inspired the sudden urge to just focus when you had to now go to library? Because you could have easily been distracted by the city lights of Johannesburg.
Yeah.
If you were distracted so much back home, imagine it's easy to get distracted. What inspired the level of discipline that stayed intact throughout? Because you're still an example of that time.
Yeah. I think it was also because of the brotherhood that we had with the other 2 guys. I mean, we were living in one room, and we all kind of wanted to get out of that life. At some point, we all could see the beauty, the glamour of Joburg.
But it was over there.
No, it was over there. Exactly. It was over there. Luckily, I got to go to a church. And that church at the time, Neliko Parktown. So we'd walk from Hillbrow and then just go across the road and then Rieko, what is now part of Wits, I believe, that medicine campus, I think. So we'd go there to that church. And that church...
I see that by Park Lane. I see that area.
100%.
Yes.
So there was a lot of celebrities that were going to that church, and I would watch them and they would inspire me. And by career guidance and all of that. And I would ask them questions. I was very curious. I was a very confident young man, way more confident than I am now, because the more you grow, the more you learn. And outside that, I was that guy, I would just walk up to anyone.
I
guess I'd have more too, but respectfully.
Yeah.
At some point later on in life, I would write the proposals, just go to different channels. How does it work? Okay, like in those days, and I'll go speak to them.
Wow.
But the more you grow, then you learn, tact, and you don't just...
That tact is a problem.
Yeah.
Because that attitude of youngsters, sometimes it makes a difference.
100%.
If you're respectful, you're likely to get a lot done.
Yeah.
Because when you're older, it's something that you could have easily done.
Yeah, no.
Your mind keeps saying, nah.
You've got a lot to lose.
Absolutely.
You've got a lot to lose because it's a buyer blind.
Yeah.
But I still use that as well. And now also with the little bit of fame that I've gotten, I'm able to access a lot of different places and higher spaces, and people listen to you.
Yes.
But I think we're actually talking about it with someone. Fame has done quite a bit for me, but some things I feel like maybe you're born with, favor and all of that. I'm a big believer in, as much as Gilly a Christian, what we are doing now, the current generation, is definitely going to affect the next generation, whether we are aware of it or not. And through our deeds, because what the previous generation did and the previous generations
before that,
and what those things are affecting us. The good that they did is affecting us now. The bad, all of that. did is affecting us now. So I believe
sins of the father.
Sins of the father. So I believe that those things rub off, and then so I believe that there are some really good that my ancestors did. You know, I can see that favor. I can see it in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and then Liwanabale from the royal family and whatnot. Someone will say, "Yo, you walk with this regal and whatnot." You know, but I don't know. Maybe sometimes, but you're a bit confused because like maybe Mutobadile can. You never know. I was like, like,
that's it.
And also, there's also the role Komubango has playing a prince.
Hey,
I think they're like, no, maybe what.
And they believed it.
They believed it. But I always genuinely believe, Hori, look, I have been in spaces where I can speak to just about anyone and they listen. It's not that it's easy. It doesn't get any easier per se, but they'll give you an ear.
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's up to you how you pitch yourself and how you sell yourself.
You can leave a good, lasting impression, or you can just be an asshole and everybody wishes they never met you.
100%.
That's also a possibility. Yeah. And in those visits to the church, it sounds like something came out of it.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah. What came out of it, to be honest, is that I got access to, like, I remember, if I can mention names, Bongani Bingwa, you know, I'm an amazing talk show radio host. At the time, I think Nezabo, Channel O and all of that. And
imagine Bongani Bingwa was once on Channel O.
It's hard to believe, eh? It is really hard to believe. So yeah, I learned so much from someone like Bongani, for example. I would ask Bongani questions and he was always willing to listen. And Bongani, incidentally, as much as Neke Kholetko Kreking, but I'd never been baptized.
Okay.
I'll never forget that day. It was the most coldest day in Joburg, the 15th of June, year 2000.
Yeah.
Tamanele Bongani and the team, they're the guys who baptized me.
Okay.
They're the guys who baptized me. Wankenya Mometing. Or when I go COJ, City of Joburg. I don't know if they're still there now because I haven't been there in ages.
Yeah.
But literally we had to ask a security guard there.
If we could.
Wow, okay, sharp. And then also, it was so cold. I'll never forget that. Said also, and then you know, so yeah, even now, you know, we still chat Libongani once in a while. I check up on him.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know, and we still talk. And I'm like, you need to go back to church. Like, no. But learn so much.
Amazing.
So much from those guys.
And what is the first opportunity that comes out of that? Because you remember you spoke about the extras.
Yes.
And it's you had passed matric, applied psychology, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, that didn't quite happen.
What disrupted that? What is?
I really guess at the time, I don't know. I also, as much as I was hungry, I finished my matric, but also I guess the focus wasn't quite there.
Academic.
Yeah. But thank God, like later on, I did go back and then I studied and whatnot. But at that time, it wasn't quite there. However, then I just decided, okay, no, let me just pursue this thing, become an extra. And then I became an extra.
Who told you about it?
No. Actually, Bongani told me basically that he would actually advocate for me to go and study. So, for example, he would always say things like he studied education, but he wished he had studied journalism. You know, and so I studied education. I was supposed to be a teacher. However, because he followed these routes, you know, then he feels that maybe he should have done journalism. However, so I think, as far as I can remember, I'm trying to remember exactly who
said
me.
Go. There was extras.
There was someone who did, and I was looking for an agency, and then someone gave me that contact. There was this place called Hollywood Center. Okay. In Eliko, Glen Hazel, not very far from where we were shooting Scandal, and then also where Scheme Sam was being shot at the time. Now it's being shot Go Henley. But anyway, at the time. So I'd always go, I went to that place, and then, then they were doing a lot of work that time. I think literally in a week, maybe like 3-4 days. Gaspar, I'm on a movie set, but I'm just an extra.
You're an extra. So you were the extra guy.
Yeah. So in a happily that thing, happy confidence, and you can just walk into. I remember, I think they'd send me co-generations or extra, and then I was an extra there, and I'm like, I feel like I can do more. And I've always wanted to do more.
That's just confidence talking.
Yeah. Then I asked her, no, who does casting here? I think that it was the floor manager at the time. I think there was a lady called Elaine Butler, I think at the time. And then, but the floor manager's like, don't tell her that I told you.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, so Elaine, okay, here she is. How can I assist you? No, my name is Lesley, and I sold myself. Okay.
What did you sell? Because you had very little.
I think I was
technically very little.
No, technically very, very little to offer. I think I was well spoken. She listened to me, and then okay. So you believe that you can do this? Okay. Look, there's auditions going on. There's a minor role.
You don't have an agent at this time. At the stage of your life, there's no one representing.
Yeah, it was just the extras.
Yes. Yeah. Hollywood. What?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, so then it's like, no, here's a script. Come back. I think it was on a Monday. Come back on Wednesday and show us what you got. I came back. I nailed it.
Were there other people who were also auditioning for that role? No. So you went and be part of the queue?
Yeah. I went and stood in the queue. And then I got the role. It was a recurring role. Would get a bit of dialogue.
Generations.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it was a minor role. But
it's Generations. You understand.
Yeah.
You appear for 30 seconds in Generations, you're a star.
Yeah. Literally, I was trending. Well, in those days, there was no social media, but literally, people were calling like, wow, people were happy to see me. Yeah. But then for a while, I tried to get lead roles, but it just was not happening.
So you were just the small one?
Yeah, just a small one. And then until someone suggested, no, man, go back. There's an academy where, you can study the finer details of acting because there's a lot that you need to learn and whatnot. So I did that. I worked with experienced actors, attended workshops, and I realized, there's quite a lot. They told me about... No, again, it's just about talent and all of that and whatnot. Yes, but there's a lot of technique. There's a lot of things that you need to, especially shooting with multicam and, And then I went, they taught me so many things, how to tap into your real emotions, sense memory, so you start learning all those things. You're like, wow. And then once I did that and it started happening for me, that's when I started getting lead roles and supporting roles and,
that's amazing.
And all of that.
Stop being the guy that just appears in the background.
Yeah.
And we all start as backing vocalists. Trust me. Everybody one of my favorite phrases is one that says even an expert knew nothing at some point. True. Yeah. We all walk in with absolutely nothing. 100%. And what was the first big role? The one that when you look at it and say, no. It defined what became a career. Because when you're doing these small ones, you can't call that a career yet.
No, you can't. I think once I did the role of Ndaramo on Mubango, and I had auditioned for something else. I had auditioned for a role that was going to be minor than that. And then I even started shooting for that role. And but I remember one day the executive producer that did Dumandlovu, he came to set, and then he said, he called me aside. He says, "No, you won't be shooting anymore." I'm wondering, what have I done? I think I'd shot for like 2 weeks at a time. He's like, "Go upstairs, go wardrobe, and then once you're done, come back here. Go demo, and they give me a tax. Bamfa tuxedo da so."
They look at you.
Then I come back to the studio as I was instructed. So it gives me different scenarios and different scripts and whatnot. Okay, can you do this? Can you do this accent? Can you do this language? Can you do? And I do. And even Cindy, the amazing thespian, even had goosebumps. I was like, wow, I really surprised myself. And then from there they said, no, okay, you won't be shooting anymore. But they never told me why. But we'll let you know in due course.
Yes.
Call you. Okay.
But hey man, you've gone through the tuxedo thing. Surely you're thinking,
I don't know what it is.
But are you anticipating something better?
I'm anticipating something better. So yeah, then they come back, I think 2.5 months later to 3 months.
Sure, that's a long time.
Yeah, then they say to me, look, Ndate Ndibuo Mutsira, who used to play with Albert, is leaving the show, but he's leaving as an actor. He'll still be working behind the scenes as a cultural advisor.
Yeah.
So we need a big character. We need someone who's going to be sort of like a replacement in a sense. So we thought of bringing
With a
back
different storyline.
It's a different storyline.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring back the role, reprise the role of Ndaramo, which was previously played by Moto Dineshe, may his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
And then that's how I got that role. That's how I started shooting that role. And they were very, they said, we know you've done other shows, but trust me, when you TX, when you appear on here, it's not going to be like anything you've ever done. And
Your life's going to change.
my life changed.
You said you had done other shows prior to that collab, but those were small shows. Even that generation, rather that Movango shoot here 2 weeks,
Yeah.
did they use that footage at all?
No.
So it was wasted recordings.
Yeah, it was. But for me,
It was some form of audition, if you think about it.
it was 100%,
Yeah.
100%. And I guess that's why what gave them confidence to say that. In fact, what they said to me is that we are wasting you. We are wasting your talent.
Yeah.
Go for that small role because role it and then it will fail. However, this one, it's a lengthy role. For Sbaka, beautiful storylines coming up. And but I was not ready. I was not ready for that kind of attention. And but it's a beautiful show. What I love is that it's a family show. It was a family show. It's accommodating or accommodative of the entire family. So yeah, man, like so many good memories.
Of course.
Yeah, I think it's made a lot of people household names. Still, even today, when I go wherever, people are still asking me, Mampotsa, Negele Sun City the other day, then Mampotsa, man, are we like, But guys, I love the show 2017. I know I've been back for a few stints.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, come back.
They didn't kill you, they just wrote you out.
Yeah, they just wrote me out. My character just decides he's going back overseas, or go overseas. But obviously, whenever like Meletlo or whatever,
You would come in and
I would come back.
Yeah. Jeez, and the change, you said it changed your life. Explain that for us.
Yeah. Wow. Sure. People don't understand. I think you'll only understand once you're there. No matter how much it was explained to me, this is nothing like what you've done before. It's only once it hit screen, once my character and storyline, and it came in like they always give me grand entrances, especially with big, also they did the same thing, Liko Scheme Sam, they did the same thing, Liko Scandal. So Liko Scandal, you see this guy walking in, like Bob Wonsa, like his shoes, you just see, footsteps, but you can tell, this guy, again, is a regal guy.
He's important.
It's important. And then they pen up, Bob Wonsa's Fatleo. And they all sort of have, this arrogance about them, or an arrogancy about them, and people naturally thought nam like that in real life, and then they get to meet me. Wow, you're so humble, and you're like, because it took me a while. Gomobango, they really had to work on that. So there were things, for example, you like smiling a lot. Like that's what Lesley does. Okay, or maybe that's what I used to do.
That's what Lesley does.
Yeah.
But not no. This guy.
This guy, when he smiles, he only does things with intention. So a smiler, you must know there's something that he wants. He's manipulative. He's trying to there's something. He doesn't just do things. So you must learn the character and all these toys and all these things. When he does certain movements, then you know it's about to go down. And I learned fast. And then, wow. But it changed my life in a way that wherever I would go, and even after I left the show, even up to today, I met so many people and clients, beyond what we do, because with the work that we do, you would know there are other spin-offs. You have to build relationships with people.
100%.
It opens up other doors and managed to sustain me doing other things, other spin-offs. I mean, there was a time, for example, we sometimes read hore actors were not paid. I never complain about such. I've never, in fact, gotten to a point where I've actually really had an issue. Well, yeah, maybe to an extent, maybe there was a time when I was not even touching my salary that I'm getting from
because they're these side gigs.
Yeah. Wow. The side gigs are the ones like literally that have even now that have sustained me, that have like people always be like, yo, Les, you're always busy, you're always doing something. You know what? It's favor, but also it's about how I believe you're able to manage relationships with people. Something that you are amazing at. I've been watching you over the years.
I do my best. I do my best.
You have to manage relationships.
My weakest attribute about my character is I don't like bothering people.
Okay.
So the relationship is good and all, but I'm not likely to bother you.
Okay.
I'm not likely to ask for anything from it.
Yeah.
If you scroll through my phone, you'll be blown away at the people I have access to, but I've never called them for anything.
Wow.
I just don't know how to. But he'll say yes. Like, I don't know. I don't want to bother him. I don't want next time I call, he just looks at it like, lentwani funa my ticket to a concert. You see?
But that's a good thing, though, in a way. And I think there's more good in that as opposed to, because whenever you eventually going to call them Orbo, and they'll be like, but he never calls us. So you'll know hore they're calling for something serious. It's not
true.
just fella hore. And maybe none to shapang fella. Not fella, but when it comes to that, sometimes, and I've learned, I have a friend who's a lawyer, he's got a law firm, in Sandton. So one thing that he told me is like, Les, you need to learn to say no.
Yeah.
You need to learn to say no. And then sometimes, that thing, and then also I was MC ko Lenyalong Lahai. Then I asked him, Graham, like, where are you? It's like, Les, that's the problem. Has it means employees.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to compartmentalize your life.
Set boundaries.
Boundaries.
Because you probably know the workers.
Yeah.
And now you're not seeing them at the wedding.
Why was he think? They do other things. But it's a lot of Spani. Or one about their boundaries.
Yeah.
Or one. They get along.
Yeah,
but at professional level.
Yeah. So that means he mustn't take it personally if they don't invite him to their weddings as well.
No. Yeah. There are things that, that's funny. Whenever they're doing body CSI projects and stuff like that, which I've done a lot with them. We go to a home, humanitarian work. They will do it together. And the girl Cheshab is not, but boundaries. You got to be strict. And then he always says to me, how tall about so like, your clients, whatever. Now my job is to say no. I was taught that.
Yes.
As an advocate.
Yeah.
Instinct
is to
say no.
Let's look at this again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so, but let me go through it.
Yeah.
You've already said I don't think so.
Yeah. So you learn, how people are about to. But also there are other relationships that you're gonna build that are just gonna go beyond business, that are gonna go beyond work. You just need to know when and how. I guess that's the difficult part. But I've built relationships with some people, some clients of mine who have literally become family. But one thing I like about them is the respect. As much as Richo, me and whatever, Mara, they always respect my craft. They respect my work. Unless if I decide to volunteer
to help out.
But even then, there's no way
petrol plus
so that's what you learn. Wow. As you go on, and you learn to manage those relationships and loyalty as well, and then you treat people how they treat you, and then you also teach them how to treat you. And then would always say or whatever, and then offer chelete.
There must be that.
Yeah. It's not everyone like that. So I've learned, to treat people, such people, with the utmost respect. I treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
But you must always, like what my friend said, the lawyer, Hori, you need to learn to say no. It's not a matter of busy, always see poster, hey, no, it shouldn't be about that.
Some moments
when there's nothing to
are your life.
So you want you to hell a fella, just
you must stay home and watch Sundowns. I know you're a fan. Let's carry on.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that comes with fame. Not everything is great.
Yeah.
That comes with, because you became. Do you feel like you became the new guy? Because there are these moments where, and there's this new guy that we just, and then Mubango launched you in a sense because they gave you the big role. Did you feel like you're the new guy at some point?
Yeah, there was a time I guess I felt like I was like the flavor of the moment.
Oh boy.
And those are the most difficult because a lot of people get lost in there. You start believing your own hype. And it sounds too cliched, but it's the truth. There are a lot of people that we have lost along the way because fame yona inale moya yona man. It's but once you start learning or you learn what it's not about you, the work that we're doing, we are here as conduits and we are here to teach people. And also for us, we also learn. I mean, even with the characters, and you also attract those things to yourself
100%.
sometimes. And unfortunately, sometimes you attract the wrong energy.
Yeah.
I did a show called Omen. And then Elika Kabuloi, and but it was painting Uloi at first. So it started off as a good thing, and then eventually, because of greed and because of human weaknesses and all of that jealousy, then it took the dark. It became a dark art form, or rather, it went the dark way. So, but while I was doing that show, I remember it was before COVID, just before COVID. I actually TX'd, and then that's when, I think during COVID or something. However. Or just for COVID, it takes rather. So what happened is everything that my character was going through, for example, because my character was one guy who Josie, and then now he has to go back home. Wow, okay. I'm impressed. Wow. Yeah. So now go back home, and then because Papa Hai Otlogofedze, and he must now take over as the chief. He didn't know because I guess some of the kings or chiefs that we have by Lahore, they grow up in exile in order for them to be protected and for them not to know who they are so that they don't get relaxed in life and all of that. So he also grew up elsewhere and he thought maybe he was abandoned by his family only to find out later, or no, actually your father was a king.
Oh boy.
So now he doesn't believe in any of that. And then he goes back home to bury his dad, and then he decides to, as he wants to leave, but he just can never leave the village. Something keeps happening. Arwatamaya, Obonadilo, almost gets into an accident. A lot of things start happening. He even became blind. So eventually, then he starts seeing, and then so anyway, my characters, the storyline, and my characters going through all of that. And then he just wakes up, with the nightmares and all of that. If I tell you, so at that time, I would just wake up, go to work, shoot there, go back home. It's just work for me.
You're playing a character.
Just playing a character.
Yes.
2 weeks into COVID, all the things that my character was going through. All those things. We were summoning the spirits. Because that's why, on a lot of sets now, there's something that looks like incenses, but it's not genuine. It's not the real one.
Okay.
Because I think they realize when you're burning real pepo and all of that,
you're
summoning.
Yes.
Hey, so they had to come up, with something that is just fella.
It will make believe
fella. It's working smoke on your but it's not gonna have an effect. So all those things, nightmares and whatever. Couldn't sleep.
And this is you now. Your private life
is my private
life. Reflecting this Mohale's life.
It was literally.
Whoa.
Now art was mimicking life. Life was mimicking art, and then now you just couldn't see. It was a gray area now. Everything in it, now it's become intertwined. That world, it's now one world, and then happy. it was a lot, and it was during COVID. So I started taking sleeping tablets. They worked for maybe the first 2 days. Afterwards, as much as I've taken sleeping tablets, without fail, 2 o'clock, zoom, my eyes just open wide.
Yo.
I would not be able to sleep after that. I would.
And when you have sleeping tablets in your system, you feel drowsy, and the worst thing is you can't sleep, but you feel like sleeping.
You feel like sleeping, but you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sort of like the voice to what one of you.
How did you overcome it? Because that's a horrible episode.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I get in those days to travel. You had to go ogre a permit and all of that. I managed to get a permit, and I went to church. I went to church. They prayed for me. I had to follow those things. I had to, and yeah. Wow. Eventually, Lina, I felt it at some point. Or whatever it is that was troubling me is gone. Yeah.
No, wait.
Like, but at the time, I would wake up, like, because I don't live too far from here. So you see that tower.
Yes.
Wake up in the middle of the night, share that tower. And then, because there was nothing to do, I would have looked at my phone, but I'm worried, and just look at the tower. And then I never thought, well, not that I never thought, but I would always question before I went to church, how am I going to get out of this thing? Is this my new life now?
Sure.
Well, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I even read other people's experiences who have gone through that. But it felt like, it's also spiritual. Like it is spiritual. Because I was trying to, but why? I've never been one guy who would struggle to sleep.
With this.
But now I'm struggling.
That's amazing.
But eventually, with prayer, with
you made it.
Yeah.
Look at you now. What aspect of the fame really troubled you and it wasn't pleasant?
Basadi.
There was no pause there.
Yeah. No, you see, that one, it's easy to say, Hore, look, you are going to, because women are inherently and generally attracted to power, money, fame.
Yeah.
So we make jokes. A friend of mine would always make jokes. It's I don't know. Okay, but back then, I don't know. On power somehow, which one. So, utole bana ba grand like di cherry tsa. Mara ona tse di went ana ka tselo hore ha di famous. Ha di na nyoko.
Reply.
Mara di tshwana tshwana bana ba sharp. Ke re ke tse feng tse I won't mention names, but however, ke tse behind the scenes tsa TV.
Oh.
Have the power to put
in
front of this
gatekeepers of sorts.
Yeah.
Yes, they will give you the opportunity.
When even when I one of those about the marketing, let's say but anyway,
dinner access. It's your opportunity.
But fame will also bring that to you.
Yeah.
So you have to be. Man. At the beginning, you get all the attention.
Did you understand the attention? Because some people are not able to process the attention.
Yeah.
It goes to the head.
Yeah. No. Look, I didn't get it at first.
We're puppets.
But luckily for me, I always go back to my default settings. Growing up, and also having strict parents that taught me discipline and taught me all of that.
Yeah.
But you are gonna make mistakes as you go. However, you always pray, fella, hey, to a point where you've gone too far.
We can't reach you anymore. That is a lie.
Yeah. So one of that aspect, discipline. That's where you need a lot of discipline.
In industrial
And I wanna pelali know how kasheba. Mjolo is expensive. So it's good to otole motu. All right, but also how do you?
Ergo China ka petrol price rojola di neighbor no. Rojola di neighbor sa fair. Ay. Ovaga mautu.
Yeah.
Working from home, ojola next door. You know, they are dur.
Yeah, what would you like next door?
We are born. And I'm mtlakasi wa dur, are very some mtlakasi wa kamo or wa kamo.
Wa kamo,
Are
yeah.
very silly together with one. Just
Yeah. So yeah, you require a lot of discipline, but if you're lucky enough to get a partner,
yeah.
who understands the industry that you're in and is supportive, and you're also supportive of them, and then you even each other out, you balance each other out. Then yeah,
it works out.
It works out. But hey, other than that, because everywhere you go, but now at least the more you grow, then the more you're able to find your way to circumnavigate your way around it. Now you have a lot to lose. You can't just fella or tell a groupie, whatever. You learn to stay away actually from those groupies. So they can destroy you.
So you find yourself saying no.
Yeah.
And this is a no, a 45-year-old. You realize that the 25-year-old you would not have said no.
Yeah. You see, hence I'm saying, I'm just grateful also that you also look at other examples. You also look at other people that came before you. I've always been one person who's always been very aware, and I've always been, read a lot and always make sure that I'm informed, and I could look at other people's pitfalls. What are the mistakes that they've done? Not that I'm perfect I've never been perfect. However, but you learn, and then you know what? If you can master tabaya as a man, tabaya basadi, because also another thing, human beings are spirits. And human beings bring different spirits, and not everything that is attracted to you, and especially easy. You must ask yourself why. What is
easy,
yeah.
Yeah.
So you must always look at those things. Man, So now my mind, as you say, over 45, I'm turning 45 this year. So as a 45-year-old, I look at things that way. What is the catch? I always look at now the downside first. I don't look at and whatnot. I always look at, hey, I have a lot to lose.
Yeah. You page back to that moment and say, I could have gone home.
You could have.
Could have gone home.
Yeah. And it's always like that. I want to know, I plan, and also, and then something happens, and then even there was also maybe a voice that spoke to you, or no, why? And you decide not to. The next thing, or maybe the next thing you are being blackmailed. The next thing, the next thing,
your character now new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
about blackmail. I mean, stories I've heard. I'm grateful it has never happened to me, but stories I've heard and read and seen other people go through. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy, to be honest. So yeah, it's not easy at this phase.
Yeah, you hung around Mobango quite a while for a newbie.
Yeah,
it was a good gig.
Yeah, no, it was.
Wow.
Look, it was. It really at the time felt like home. It was a great place to be, and I'm grateful for that opportunity that I was given there. I'm truly, I'll forever be indebted to them and everything that I've learned, especially from Data Duma and other people as well. But that place is an academy, or was an academy. Data Duma is someone who is very passionate about teaching. And, he would always have also these classes and then make us do the monologues. Someone very passionate.
Wow, really?
We always used to joke, that song, like who watches the monologue? That song, MT. So we always used to, there was one of, with Pindile Kwala, we'd always joke, she would always call me celebrity, I'll call us Coco. So then we'll be like, who watches it? Then Babtuma. We'll always be like Babtuma, because he likes watching monologues. But we realized what he was doing, even beyond work, he was teaching us a lot, about exploring and about knowing yourself and understanding yourself so that you really push your craft to the limit. He's very decisive. And I was like, man, that kind of wisdom I wanted, but it comes with age, it doesn't just with experience. So we want to very decisive. He looks at something, it doesn't need to look at it for a long time. We want to quickly. He can even tell you your conflicts inside, or no, I could see how you wanted to do this, but you went this way. All right, no, it's fine. And
he's seen it enough times.
No, way too many times. And then he'd also make me watch myself on screen afterwards and be like, no, can I get a playback after we've done a scene, and then quietly, then he'll be whispering in my ear like, "Oh, Wana, can you see what your, what your fellow cast member is giving you? Well, when they're giving you that, I want to take and give them back. Or when I just." Then I started, okay. And then I started understanding myself, Lynn, and understanding this thing. And then it just really made me into a better performer, I believe.
Back home, what was the overall reaction to now having a celebrity in the midst?
Ooh, yeah, man. It was, it was amazing. Because even now, look at your family gatherings. I have family. Look Botswana, my paternal
your grandma,
yeah, my paternal grandmother is from there. So even when I go there, they love the show, and then they would now you're getting invites from everywhere, But the problem is everyone wants you to say something, wants you to either be an MC, if a family function,
so there's a death of a cousin you've never met.
Yeah,
you're expected to speak.
Yeah. Well, so but but it's been they really understood, and also even when I was doing Speak Out, for example, because sometimes
really
I even explained to
never
them, look, all the producers and also the SABC, whenever I'd sit with them, I'm like, no, we're sorry that your family is, but it's fine. At least
here they are.
Bring them, and then I'll bring the letters, people. But it also for me, it was a positive thing in that it means that the work that we're doing, people are recognizing, and they're seeing value in it. And then it's also turning into, I suppose, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So it means that people are tuning in, and that's one thing I've always loved also about the public broadcaster, that you'll get the numbers, you'll definitely,
and without even realizing.
Yes,
they're happening all on their own quietly.
Yeah, because also there are certain shows sometimes that you don't, you would read about maybe on social media, but some you don't. But then you realize that they have more viewership than the ones that you keep reading about. Then you realize, it's also about the LSM, the different markets. Yes. Then that LSM or that also older generation is more loyal, and it's the one in only buying power.
100%. They will come, they will hang around, they will love you, but they'll never post a single thing on social media.
No.
Because they don't even know how to. They're not even interested.
And what was interesting about it is what became awkward for me at some point is taking pictures, how you go funeraling. I even had to come up with a way to handle that. Or no, guys, we can't be taking pictures. It's uncultural. It's disrespectful.
Yeah. Can do it later.
Yeah, we can
not
do it
now.
later. So I remember there was one day a friend of mine, sister had passed on, so I went there. Actually, also it happened the legendary actor Ronnie Nyakal. So I'm there. I took pictures that day. Hey, I was like, I was so relieved. At least then my other friend came through Bonga as well. I was so happy. I was spanning salon. Let me grab some water. I haven't been able to do any of those things.
Sure.
So it is quite overwhelming. But also you have to be a people's person. And I've realized, not everyone, because they are in front of the cameras, are necessarily people's people or they are bad people. But it's just that, they just love their privacy. But it's difficult. I mean, you must understand whenever you're out in the public and all of that, people are seeing a character. And it took me a while to get used to.
TV.
The guy they love on TV. It took me a while to get used to. I would be wondering, in my head, why are they staring? Then it will hit me a few seconds. They're seeing a character. Okay, all right. I know it feels a bit naive at the time.
Makes total sense, because I sometimes go through the same problem.
Sure.
I've been on radio for so long.
Yeah.
And radio gives you that privacy.
Yeah.
Not now, in the past. And for the longest time, you'd live a normal life.
Yeah.
Until we started putting cameras in front of us. Ooh. So now that changed. So you can imagine how the sudden change, because my career hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
What has changed is that we put a camera in front of me now. And now when they recognize me, I always say, I don't know. I sometimes think, do I know you?
Yeah.
Maybe I met you somewhere and I forgot. So that experience still continues to happen.
Sure.
It's not easy. I get it, but it is what it is. I guess you take it with it, and you said very clearly that you have to be a people's person.
Yeah.
And really acknowledge and remember that without these people, your career is zero.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The people makers.
Yeah.
And also just learning as you go which places. And most people are sharp. It comes from a good place. You can see, the excitement. I remember there was a story, one actor, maybe if I can mention the name. Yeah. Konet Mamabulo, who was on Scheme Sum for ages. I think also just recently did another role, Pita Mukaba. But anyway, so he was saying, one day, Salema Miza. So usually, problem because sometimes we get called for appearances, especially as well. Since maybe we whatever. Then you go to that places and like they've been there for a long time. It can get overwhelming. Some people get really excited. So he said it had just been raining. It was on a Sunday. He was wearing all white. The Happy Karaso, or he thought maybe they're not gonna see him. So I feel like then he got out of his car. It took one guy to see him and told everyone else, hey, there he is. And it just been raining. Yes. And then,
Can you all white?
All white. And then, then he says he was angry. But something said in him, no, but they don't mean bad. They're excited to see you.
To see you.
Then he come down. Okay. But it can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
So then I've had people like tear my jacket. I remember Naliko Cape Town the one day. So Majidaka, the guys I was with there, they're like, no man, let's go around Rubonse. So we go around. Mankisa go spotong these guys. Yes, man, while inkisa rokokasi somewhere and go wawan. Arfita raso. Nesetele na kotsele like when it was dying down.
But dear fair.
Hey, wawana na kota di gospel it's la. So hardly also it took one guy to recognize me. Hanguye. Kira pati itsuga no. Patla monna. I got like leather jacket like we had to flee out of that place. But I think the owner was quite excited because we were not booked to go and but Majidaka no, let's just go show you around. Like I was also skeptical, but guys, give me my 1 a.m, but anyway, but it just goes to show
the love is real.
The love is real. The love is definitely real. People mean well. And even when I go to places, I try and also just stay and take pictures with people. Some people will say like, yo, but you see, it's exciting, right? Wow, it's exciting the first 2 years. So if you can handle those first 2 years, maybe you can then
you'll be all right.
Then you'll be all right. Yeah.
Similar to Muvango, where you came in inverted commas to replace, because somebody else, they wanted a character that will carry the same weight as somebody they were writing out.
Yeah.
Even Speak Out is similar, isn't it?
Yes.
You walked into shoes that were already huge.
Yeah. And incidentally, the world or the universe operates in its own way. Back in the day, I think it was either in 2012, just before Speak Out started, they were doing holding auditions for Speak Out. I did go and audition.
Okay.
But no one knew who I am. I was just an obscure person, fella, there were all these, famous people and all these legends and all these people. And I was like, So anyway, I auditioned. I never even got a call back, nothing. I moved on. So how I got this...
And the show happened.
The show happened.
Yes, there.
And then Tingani
was there.
Later became my colleague, Komuvango. He did it... and then he did it. I think he did it he did 3 seasons. I didn't even know about presenter and whatever. So apparently when they were sitting, the same producer, executive producer who was producing Speak Out, she did a documentary that I voiced.
Okay.
It was about. I remember it was about education, the history of education in this country. I learned so much doing that, and she taught me so much. Even so, anyway, she remembered. Oh, man, there's this young man, but now then I was not famous then, but she never forgot me. And then now when I did Muvango, and she was like, no, he's doing Mubango, and it's the same channel. So how they looked at it is that, okay, the viewers, ba Mubango, because then Speak Out would play on Thursdays at 9:30 immediately after Mubango, then would not leave.
They would hang around.
They would hang around.
And that happens, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they call me.
Yeah.
To come and audition. I went through and audition. And when she mentioned, they're like, yeah, like, and when I was like, and we were not thinking about him, we were thinking about other people. I was like, yeah. Oh no, actually that happened when they went to Channel. That's the story.
Okay.
So when they took the footage to Channel was like, what are they thinking about? That makes sense. And that's how I got the gig. It was
a big show.
It was big shoes to fill. I mean it took me a while to settle in, to finally find my
challenge.
I guess I'm not a very confrontational person, but they said that's what we want. However, you have presence and you're affectual, about your, just work on things like listen to these people. Let them, let them willing. When I agree, you've got your facts.
Yes.
And also it's a team. You have people around you, who are listening and then sometimes one let you know to sometimes some stuff that they're picking up and then that maybe you may not pick up. I not go back to that point. Like more, and whatnot, then you're able to get, but eventually I learned, I found my way around it in that, you start being able to pick up about and also that there are things that they're not saying, but there's more and whatnot. But then you learn also, and also just to keeping your questions short, those kind of things, and don't tie yourself or give them a way out.
Yes.
Then you learn those things, and eventually, I got my way around.
So a lot of it, as much as you have help, you still have to carry this thing.
Yeah.
You still have to carry those interactions.
100%.
They can't say cut to that guy who is running.
Yeah. No, they can't.
They can't say, hey, but we battery camera. He's running.
Yeah, no, he's running. And also there were times when we, as I've said, when we started, have to chase these people. So you have to be brave.
Yeah.
But that show, it was such a roller coaster ride. At some point, Zirast, it was a lot. It was a lot that was happening. But you learn and then you have to be brave.
Yeah.
So you remember at the end of the day, this is as much as you drive it, but it's not about you. There's a mother sitting out there. There's someone sitting out there. You are giving those people hope. You come across as a hero. You come across. Never forget those things. That there's a much bigger purpose why you're doing this, and you are helping other people as well. As much as maybe we may not get to their cases, but you're also showing them ways of how they can go around resolving the whatever issues that they might be going through.
A thought that crosses my mind is about how you are inside the injustice of this country when you do a show like that, where every episode somebody was done wrong by someone, and you have to, as you put it, have to be the hero and try to help them solve that. But surely it also makes you realize just the sinister nature of certain people. Yeah. Like you spend time with the bad guys as well, because we go into another one. You almost want to have a peaceful episode where nothing happens.
Yeah.
What gave you insight about us? What did you learn about us as humans from that experience of seeing so many nasty and unfriendly and unhappy people?
Yeah. What I learned is that people try to cut corners. I think it's easier for a lot of people to. It comes from, I suppose, from the selfish nature, the selfish gene, whatever. Like that, everyone always kind of looks out for themselves, and they will try to. Because we help so many people on the show where Baba when they pension it's about pension and then I don't know, I'm going to become a farmer. Tato has been working for 30, 40 years of his life, and that's all he had. I'm going to be a farmer, and then Batuba, because they think that he's ill-informed, but he had paid for, and so those things, they really touch you, but also you learn to kind of detach, to say that, because if you were to take all of that in all the time, you're a human being, it's going to take its toll on you at some point. But I was always, but also they would also tell me that, Les, you are so solution orientated. And then they would always be like, no, sit on it. Sometimes, we want the juice. We want drama cells.
So I know what like ifele.
Or when I get, but no, stay with them. Or when, even in their silliness, because the camera just like, I mean, if how the camera, then it's cameras on you. You did 1, 2, 3, and not knowing what I think. So yeah, it's I learned so much, but I've learned what you are this close to these people. The eyes never lie. You listen to their story, and then you are looking at them, and then there's cameras. No, there's no way they're gonna crack.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much.
We crack, eh?
Yeah.
In those moments.
Hey. So there's so much that I learned about people in general, and but also there are also some people by Lohore. Hey, but what tricky man. There are also some people by Lohore, they know how to say all the right things and but always never forget the end goal. We are here for this client. And also sometimes, about the very same complainers, our clients, they lie.
Yes.
And then you find yourself in a position where you gotta save the show and you gotta then it's difficult sometimes when you're put in that position.
Balancing act.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act. Now you're like, okay, how do I now? And you have to think on your feet.
Wow.
You literally have to think on your feet. So yeah, I did a lot of that. But
you say, as you rightfully say, that actor come presenter, and it's not a basic presenting style. This is confrontational presenting style. So the adjustment, but there's a bit of acting in it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, in essence, you're
performing.
You're performing. I mean, you are gonna find those moments, and then, but don't force them. When they happen, allow them to flow naturally.
Yes.
And just be with them. Just be like, don't miss a beat. Like in acting, you must always understand the beats. You must always understand the moments, and whatnot. But here, because it's real life, but still there are those beats.
That's it.
So allow them and don't miss them.
Yeah.
If there was something, wait a minute. Did you just say? Go back, because and it's also interesting. I also read people's comments. I used to a lot when I was doing a show, just to see how other people see it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be interesting what other people see. And then you're like, oh, okay, so this is what people want.
And you probably learn from it as well.
You learn.
Yeah.
How you learn. You just have to have a thick skin, because sometimes even some of their comments are directed at you. They would feel, you didn't resolve that properly, or you should have done this. But take it in your stride all the time. Yeah, just learn, And those people by Lohore, one that actually teach you. That's how you learn. But the ones that constantly, no, you did great and whatnot, but also they never tell you what to improve on. So now I like those people by Lohore about criticize them, because those people are the ones that really make you.
Absolutely. Yeah. You made a 10 at Generations. Loan shark role of sorts. Am I correct?
Wow, that's a long time ago. I did. But that was before I did.
Before Muvang, okay.
Yeah, that was after.
That was a tiny little.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when you were still finding your feet, I guess.
100%. That's when I was still finding my feet, and it was also quite interesting. I went and prepared for that role. I remember my neighbor, there were elderly people. So I went there, and then also I made sure, I get my diction right and all of that. And then, when I watched it on screen, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was quite amazing. So I thoroughly enjoyed that.
And it takes us to an interesting part of your reality, which is language. And you say you clearly absorb language easy. It's pretty obvious. Where do you think you get that? Does it exist within the family?
Yes, it does. It does also. My maternal grandmother, the one I spoke about, she was very good with languages. She was amazing. I mean, she had also lived in exile, and she could speak several languages.
Yeah.
And I was always very curious growing up, and I always ask her. And even after the unbanning of the different, liberation, the different liberation movement and other political parties back then in the early 90s. So I would sit with my grandmother, and I'm looking at some of the albums that you have here, even on the wall, like that were banned, like I only started listening to that music after the end of apartheid, basically. Time. So I'd always ask my grandmother, Kimang Mira Makeba. I remember that song. So that song really stuck on me, and I'm like, who is this woman? And my grandmother would explain, and then she has lived in exile, she has lived in the US, I think Guinea and all of that. She could speak French, I was like, wow. And Brayu, Masekela, all these people. And when I got to meet them, when I got to see them live, much later on in live, when now here in Joburg, I was still in awe. I was starstruck. And and talking about being starstruck, when I met those people, those Brayu, Masekela, I was in awe. But also, I'll also tell you another one where I haven't been that starstruck that many times in my life. I mean, I've seen some of my heroes and even some Hollywood stars, but Will Smith, I have seen them, because I used to also work behind the scenes. He gets like shows and stuff, those guys. Then I'll get a chance. And I like observing artists when they're going through, their rituals or whenever they're going, before they go on stage. People don't understand what artists have to go through, So every artist got his own thing. I remember John Legend as well. Backstage, I'm watching this guy. It's like he psychs himself up. There are these affirmations, things that he's saying to himself. Like, you can see that he's locked in, he's in the zone. And then I like watching those things. I remember Lepra, Ray Piri as well.
Yes.
He had this thing, Chikapa Piri. You would always, I think, would drink tea before going on stage, and then be talking, and then he goes on stage. Then they just become alive. Yeah. But I met this one lady.
Who's that?
And I had a poster of hers that was in the mid 2000s then. So now, that woman is beautiful.
Come on. Come on.
I don't know Kasheba. Ashanti.
Okay. Yes.
I want to chance to like face to face. And I'm like, I was just starstruck out in awe. I can't
believe the man who meet Will Smith, but Ashanti. No, but we don't see things the same.
We don't see things the same. I mean, Will Smith are heroes. They,
yes,
but not. But no. But Ashanti is just another level of beauty.
Oh, Kawati.
Hey, man. I was struck. I was like, and in effect, because then she has to sign that poster or sign an autograph for me. And I'm both okay, what's your name? And like, I'm trying to put on my American on. I'm like, I'm Lesley. It's like, oh, Lesley. Okay. And then once I, with the crew, and I kind of got it. I was like, okay, because Lesley predominantly in the US, it's a more feminine name, also depending on the spelling and whatever. And then but more, so wow, I never forget that moment.
Wow, amazing!
I never forget that moment. It was something really, really surreal. And
I'm shocked by it because it's just Ashanti, my man. No, but she was a big star, and there's an era in 90s music where she was just the biggest star.
No, she was something else.
Yeah.
I think there was Beyonce, and then there was Ashanti.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know your role on Intersections. Why it matters, because you've done boxing commentary. Am I correct?
Yes.
Because your role on Intersections has sports in it. Remind me.
Okay, my role on Intersections, it was not that big.
Yes.
However, if my memory serves me well, it was more of a cameo. However, what happened is I got a chance to work with the amazing thespian and actress Tsulu Munedi. Sure, that woman is she's an amazing performer. I never but at the time when she was there, I wasn't there. I came after she left.
Okay,
but I got to have a couple of scenes, Liena, on Intersections. That lady is a performer of note. You just take it all in, and then she doesn't rush. She's also like Cindy Dlato. sometimes, they have these pauses, Nyana. You think maybe, King, no, like they're taking it all in.
It's part of the performance.
Yeah, they're processing it, they're listening, they're thinking, and then they're going to react.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. And then you watch it on screen, it's like a dance. It's so beautiful. You're like, wow. So, yeah.
So intersections brings that memory.
Yeah, it brings that memory of working Litsulu. An amazing actress, amazing performer. And then I also, actors are very interesting people, but the more you learn, I remember then, because I remember also seeing her, I think it was during COVID, we're doing voiceovers. This is now my one. So when I what's happened myself, I saw you. Love Tepo. So we get to, anyway. Tepo, like always, and he
takes over the room.
Oh, it does. And then he knows so much, that man. Like
he's lived, he lived 2 lives.
Yeah. So Tepo, then Tulu was there, but she was sitting in a corner quietly. I'm like, it's interesting, when you see this woman on screen, like, she's like, and then in real life, she's calm, and then she takes a moment, we plummet to connect, and she just listens. Like, wow, it makes sense that, she's such a, because some actors are like that. Some actors, they take so much and they give so much.
Exactly.
But when some, they're quiet and they just observe, and then they, protect their energy, or they preserve their energy, so that when they get on set, they come out alive.
Explodes.
It's like another guy, another actor, Mutusi Mahano. I worked a bit with him, go Scandal. Mutusi, I was very surprised because all the roles, I'd never met him until then, until we were on before we went on set. Like when you watch his roles, this guy's bold and he's always, then you meet him in real life, he's at some corner by himself, he's reading a book. It's like he's shy, it's like, hi, how's it? I'm good. But then he gets on set. Oh, this guy's a beast, eh?
Wow.
So I always...
That's so confusing for us as fans, because we know the TV guy.
Yeah.
We know the performer.
Yeah.
And to us, you're not performing.
Yeah.
This is who you are.
That's who you are.
And then you know how we conclude.
Oh. And but it's not like that. It's just some people... they're different. They're very different from the roles they play. And usually it's like that. The guys that usually play those bad guys and whatnot, like Warren Masemula, for example.
Yeah. Nothing close to that.
Nothing close to the characters that he plays. Like, I believe I'll take it to for sure. Yeah, no, look Sosha. Na mama taba ti. Marno ko panale like hey man, ke out here batho. Go stadium o bloma le batho. Go extra strong. He's that guy.
You're so right, eh?
Yeah.
It's incredible. I want to go through some of the if you remember some of the names. On After 9, what was the name of your character?
Ooh, that's a good question. On After 9, yeah, because Leonard was not wasn't I? Not David.
You were Trevor.
I was Trevor. Wow.
Yes, you were Trevor.
Wow.
Did you enjoy that experience?
It was.
Yeah.
No, it was a beautiful experience. I got to work with the legendary actor and director Chava Murujele. He was directing that. I learned so much as well while working with him. He taught me. And I could see him doing this thing, where he's like, it's like, yes. Well, yeah, actually. Looking, it's like, okay. Wow. Well, and then it's like, okay, I was watching here. It's like, okay, wow. It's all here. Like, okay. So yeah, I got to learn so much.
Wow.
Yeah, while doing that.
Which other one? A Family Secrets. Do you remember the character's name?
Yes. Family Secrets, I played David.
There's the David.
Yeah.
There's the David you were looking for, eh?
Yeah, Dr. David.
Yes. And anything that stands out about that time? Because it was not a single season, it was 2 seasons.
It was 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The first season, they called me towards the end of the season. It was during COVID. It was very quiet. At the time, there was not a lot of work happening. So when they called me, wow, man, I was actually at home. I'd gone to Limpopo. I was in Musina, and I got a call. They called me up, and they were like, "Yo, where are you? Limpopo. How soon can you make it to Joburg?"
Jeez.
And I think that time, make it nearly like 12 midday.
Yeah.
Or when I can be there, but probably I could maybe come 4 something like that. Or one. They're like, okay, cool. And they called me back. I said, no, it's fine. no, in fact, I think I did make it on that day. Actually, I had a meeting with the executive producer.
Jeez.
An amazing guy, Mr. B, Bongani, Tate Bongani. He's late now. He also passed on. We lost so many people, man, during COVID especially. I think then following year, something like that.
Horrible time.
Horrible time, but yeah, amazing. I sat down with him. He was also an amazing writer, an amazing producer who had lived in exile, left South Africa when he was a kid. So he spoke with an American accent. So I learned so much also working with them. I did quite a few shows with that particular production, Sawita, South African Women in Television Art.
Yeah.
I also did recently, I don't know if I'm preempting, this is fine. I also did The Executives. We did 2 seasons of The Executives.
Wow.
I believe The Executive Season 2 is also currently on.
Bonkos.
Yes, Bonkosi Kumala. Yeah, no, I'm impressed, David.
Raspana.
Yeah. So I did 2 seasons with them. Beautiful show. Yeah, loved it.
Your portfolio of work is just incredible. And you said it, you've been lucky, I guess, to always have work.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
You can say that again. And in this industry, man, it's not easy because sometimes it's just about the cycle. It's not really about, then we've seen with the advent of a lot of influencers coming through, and it's about how many followers you have. And yeah, but I've been extremely fortunate.
Yeah.
But also I think it goes back again to what I mentioned earlier about managing relationships. Just making sure that whoever you work with, that you do your best, and then you manage those. Because a lot of the times, really, the dynamics with human beings, it's not necessarily about how really good you are in terms of what you can be amazing, but you might have a messed up personality.
True.
What maybe people might see on screen, they see you as a great guy, but you're very difficult to work with. So you don't last.
Yeah.
Ungabi
star.
Yeah, no, don't be.
The stardom mustn't go to the head.
No, it should never. It should never. So I mean, we learn. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was one producer actually called me. Do you have so and so's number? I was like, no, I don't have it, but I can get it. A legend. And then I got the number. I spoke to the legend, but he was cool. But he had an issue of auditioning. No, I don't audition. Like, I don't wanna. Then okay. So then the producer called him, and then it was also difficult.
You sent
to get
through
him.
The numbers.
Yeah, I did. But it was also difficult for them to get him. But also they when they spoke to other producers, they found out that no, that man is very difficult to work with.
Ooh.
Yeah, I won't mention names, but that man. But I explained, we haven't seen him on screen. We haven't seen him in a while. Then I kind of understood. But this man, we watch him on screen, and he's amazing. He looks but it's difficult. If you hear producers saying no, he's difficult to work with. He comes to work not prepared. Yes, it's good, but you waste a lot of time. Lespana kana kwa high when he decides, Raspana no lemolate. Then because we have early call times, especially when you're a lead. We get there like sometime about 5 a.m, 6 a.m. You work 12-hour shifts. So that's why people always say things like, "Why do we always see the same faces on screen?" It also because of that, because the people that you constantly see is because they deliver. They are good to work with. They know how to work with people. Because now, and I'm not saying we should be gatekeeping for new talent. I mean, I'm all for new talent coming through, but new talent also has to understand that they have to pay their dues. They have to earn their stripes. 100%. It takes a while to get to that point. Producers just want to work with someone. We don't have time in South Africa. Someone who comes to work, we finish, we go home.
And also because of budgets, you sometimes have multiple scenes on the same day. Yeah. You can't be training.
No,
you can't be Ntwananyana from Gostrating or Watatlo Zala ko first team ya down.
No.
Wait a minute, Melody. We receive Rasmur lose a league and when I was in a fella so.
No, you can't. Now you can't. So you need someone who literally is gonna hit the ground running.
That's it.
I mean, I remember there was an actor, younger actor at the time, had just gotten a big role. And on this big show, and then there were billboards everywhere of this actor. But the actor always there, because there are other actors who constantly have issues beyond what we do, because once you get on set, we have all our families, we have things, but you have to forget about all those things and focus on work. So, but that actor was one actor that was, but very amazing. Once they decide who was spana, but when they decide who's spana, very difficult. Their phones are off. You can't get hold of them. So they kept calling this actor. They couldn't get hold of them. Meanwhile, they don't even know. So eventually, and they nearly lead because you billboard everywhere. They literally, I think that person had shot either a month's work or what, but likely they still have a little bit of time before TX. It was a new show at that time, but that show became really big. A lot of people don't know this, but they replaced him with someone. They had to get someone. Wow. Literally, they called that person, Lena, that actor, I think had just left Joburg. Difficult times. But Emma, how soon can you make it to Joburg? I'll go Durban, that actor. And the actor's like, I'll take a bus now.
I'm on my way.
Oh, because he couldn't even afford a flight ticket. But he took a bus overnight. The next morning, I was spanning and had to reshoot all those scenes. Reshoot. Imagine a month's
worth of work.
And one of the leads. So it was a lot of work. But
because it involves a lot of people, because that's clearly they lost a lot of money from that.
They did. Imagine with billboards and things like that, and having to pay. I mean, we pay by the minute, basically.
Hey,
it's a minute.
Shows are a minute.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things. Such stories probably don't get to make it mainstream media.
We don't know.
Yeah, they keep them tight.
Yeah.
Then you see the actor that you finally see on screen, but there was not the actor that initially they had planned to. But I'm really happy about whom they chose.
Yes.
Because wow, disciplined actor, amazing actor. He really took that role and he ran with it. And I think that time was his biggest role. Yeah. And even up to today, that man is still working. That other actor is now obscure. We don't know what's happening. Kai.
If you remember Billboard, and then there was a change. Remind all of us, because I am burning inside. I wish I knew this actor, but it's okay. It's okay. You've appeared on Movango, Speak Out, Mind the Gap, Early Days, Generations, Intersections, Family Secrets, Guyane, Land of Blood, Queen Mojaji, Big Show. Yeah. A lot of people question the story, but that's a different discussion. Yeah. Skim Sam, Executives Now, Mzansi Love, Zabalaza, Oman, and many others that we probably don't even know. Yeah. These are big South African productions.
You're right, these are big South African productions. And wow, I've been very fortunate, as I've said, and I'm truly grateful. And even when with the Skim Sam role, for example, they had initially asked me to... I think what had happened is a friend of mine heard, I think, that they were looking for, or they were still going to pitch.
Okay, the idea.
What? To channel of a storyline. And I was like, no, but why don't you call Lesley? So luckily, at the time, the casting director I had worked with, Queen Mujaj, previously. I was like, oh, yeah, Lesley. Okay, cool. And then the casting director called me up. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, can you do a self-tape? And I was shooting The Executive season 2. And I think, So I did a self-tape. I sent them. And sometimes, you never know what's going to happen, And then I didn't hear anything from them. I think for a good, because it was around winter that time, they only called me September.
Sure.
Right. And when they called September, they called me on a I think it was either on a Friday or something like that. Or can you come Wednesday the following week to come and do like screen tests? We want to see chemistry.
Yeah.
You didn't get that role, the one initially. However, there's a role that we feel like you'll be perfect for this role.
Yeah.
And so when they called me, it was just that week when my father had just passed on.
Oh, no.
So I was conflicted because on the Monday, I was planning to travel home. But they want to see.
You hadn't buried?
No.
What?
We hadn't buried. So after he passed on, I think there was a good 10 days in between because he passed on. And then we decided, I think it was either during the week, decided, no, let's not use this weekend.
Okay. So that prolonged
it.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I was conflicted. I was like, this sounds like maybe it's my old man's way of taking care of me, of saying, yeah, no, don't worry, Ntanaka, just go and handle this. So I called them at home. It's like, I'm pizza for Spani. One.
Sure.
So
and surely that wasn't easy for you.
No, it wasn't. And I went and did a screen test. Wow. It was just beautiful. We were shortlisted. I think we were like 3 actors that had been shortlisted. So I went there and I did just 2 scenes. Yeah, I take each. And then after I finished, they were just all clapping hands. Like no one except for the actress I was working with, because she's a good friend of mine. So I had told her about the passing on. She even called me afterwards, like, look, wow, even after you left, like they were just raving about you. I'm not saying you got the role, whatever, but like, yo, guy, like knowing what you're going through and whatnot, and you being able to deliver like that. So I just finished that Wednesday. I drove to Limpopo. I went straight home, to go and lay my old man to rest. Wow. And then literally, I guess it was Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, a day before we laid my dad to rest, they called me to say, you got the role. And I was like, wow.
What in the world is that, eh?
Yeah, like the way the universe works. And then, so I laid my dad to rest. Yeah. It was painful. Even now, of course, man, I miss my dad.
Dude.
You know what I mean? But I learned so much from him. Then I started working. I think it was a couple of weeks after that. And then it was beautiful, and it still is beautiful. It's a recurring role.
Yes,
it's beautiful because Kim Sam and the reception. But you know what is weird? As I said, they were shooting on the other side of town. Kosesani Studios, the other side of town. So now they are back at the public broadcaster, Go Henley. So now, when they came through to here, the same studios that Mobango was using is what Skim Sam is using right now.
Yeah. Same canteen, same change rooms.
Same change rooms.
Yeah.
Now, the first day I shot Go Henley, I was given the same change room I was using on Mobango. It felt like deja vu. I'm like, what is this? How freaky is this?
Yes.
And I remember I was there, I think a year, no, maybe 2 years before that prior. I just come in Gomubango for
one of those
ceremonies.
It's come
in
back.
And out.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is freaky. What's going on? And they were even making jokes, the crew, because it's the same crew that I had worked with for years.
Yes.
So hey, man, you're back. You keep coming back. Like, how do you? And then Marano and all lawyer in a street. Wow. So one guy, he says to me, he's been in that building forever. Like, yeah, no, so it's like, ay, man, mango vaile, wana buile, wana loile mubango,
jeez, imagine that.
Oh yeah, and also, I must show you. Can I show you something?
Yeah, please.
Also, because I must be honest, my exit from Mubango was not. It was not a good one. But I didn't hold grudges or anything like that.
Are you saying the writing out?
Yes.
But not entirely firing, but you are still around.
Yeah.
So you're saying that experience wasn't pleasant?
No, it wasn't, because it was. So it's a season, which is like 12 months.
Yeah.
So halfway through the season, I just got called to the office and was told that your storyline has come to an end. But what was weird also is that at the time, when the season started, because remember I was doing Speak Out, and I was also featuring heavily in the storylines and the storylines that they were pitching for the next season.
And you were aware of this?
I only got to become aware because I have friends.
Okay.
A channel that also made me aware. No, but we had made it clear to them that they need to make it work. Because I think they had learned during Nakoya, the previous host, what didn't work in terms of scheduling. Okay. So now that the channel had said, find a way to make it work. If he has to
both
shoot
shows.
For both shows, yes. Because we need both shows to work.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that we still keep it in-house in that we bring a face that is already, because literally this guy is a familiar face and literally he is the face of Movango. At that time, my storylines were just going to, escalate and they were coming up with a whole lot of, however. So yeah, I felt a bit hard done, but I didn't keep grudges. It felt like you learn. That's another thing about this industry. And life in general, but this industry, nothing is guaranteed. You may have a job today, the next thing how gone.
Somebody decided overnight that Did you ever find out what could have been, even if it's just a theory? I know you're willing to tell. No, what is
I did hear a few theories, but Lina, no, you look with the benefit of hindsight, or Lina, there were probably things that I did. One thing that I did that also led to that, but I still feel like didn't warrant for me to be written off.
It's like Adams when he fell. And they said he simulated and they got another yellow card and it became a red card.
Yeah.
They didn't warrant the harshness. Anyway, sorry, I'm having flashbacks.
No, you're right.
I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah, and it's a very good analogy that you've just given. It's exactly like that.
Yes.
You start feeling, but guys,
What?
Yeah, but I think it was one of those. But I'll tell you what I did that was wrong. Because what would happen is, once a year, or usually maybe like once a year, Movango would go to, because remember it's being shot here in Joburg, but also they need to go and shoot Venda, like, there are storylines that will need to be shot there. So I was supposed to go and shoot that side. So I was going to drive myself. I usually decide sometimes to drive, especially if I didn't had to only go there for like one scene. Then maybe
you want the flexibility of leaving anytime.
Yeah, So yeah, and unfortunately at the time, as I said, flexibility. I needed to move around because I only had one scene on Monday, so I had to leave on Sunday, the day before, and go shoot that one scene, and then I was going to have to sit there for the whole week until Saturday. The next time I was going to shoot was Saturday, and I didn't really have a storyline per se. So in the scene, I drive my sister. Basically, I just drive her in, and then I leave. So that was the scene. But I'm not saying it's not important. It was. I don't say anything, nothing, or maybe cheers, whatever, go.
So it didn't even have dialogue, really?
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
However, I had my personal issues. I've always been disciplined for work. I've never been one to miss work. But that day, I couldn't travel. It was one silly thing, man, that you learn. I had a fight with my girlfriend then. Ya di phone. So when you message nyana was not yanka phone. So it was no those thin phones. So when I mention the brand.
Heart.
So ralwana anka phone ela. So I like we were over and she bent it. So it was a bit disheartening. We had an argument about it, but you see that had nothing to do with work. I should have been professional enough.
But it affected work.
No, it did. And also incidentally, the producers had been warning me, they didn't kind of like the relationship at the time. But there was nothing bad about the relationship. From a perspective that, it was a good relationship. However, I think they just felt that it might take away from the work that I'm doing because at the time it was someone famous. I just... barely got into my stride. And
you already...
Yeah, so they just, they didn't approve of it, so to speak. So when that happened, I think it gave them reason enough to be like,
Yeah,
but I wasn't told, but I just kind of figured it out at the stage. And then other stuff as well but that everywhere there's politics.
Did you try to say, but, I wonder in moments like that, when you're called to the office and say, oh yeah, by the way, I think you're working for the last time tomorrow.
No, I mean, you try. But at the end of the day, you realize, no, man, my time here is done. And then you just move on from there. And then, I moved on. I learned.
And a big lesson.
Yeah, no, it was a very big lesson, especially being caused by by lava's turf.
Hey.
But anyway, so
Why did you want to show
you?
us? Yes.
So I left that building, my heart sore and all of that, and felt, but guys, maybe you could have docked my salary or something, but not
Punish me. Give me a yellow card.
Not like fire me, constructive dismissal, and there, you don't get not a written warning, nothing, just. Yeah, but anyway,
you get a
So, but anyway, then I never threw away the access card to that building.
Whoa!
For some reason,
hey man,
I kept it.
Yes,
and that was 2017.
Sure.
And when we start shooting Skim Sam, they're now literally almost 10 years later, 9 years later, we're shooting here. Then I have to sign in, and I'm thinking, hey, guys, I have an access card. So
yes, because you have to sign in, and then somebody must come. Yes.
So I spoke nicely to the producers. I get it. I've learned previously, and you don't repeat those kind of mistakes, and you don't say it forcefully. Or when you say it, you find a way to put it like, I've got an access card. And especially I realized, okay, I've got a bit of a storyline here, so I will be coming here quite a bit. Oh, you do have an access card? Yeah, exactly. But obviously it hasn't worked in years, because I looked at other people's access cards. It's like, they haven't changed.
Still the same.
They're still the same. Maybe the color has changed. And here's
look at that.
And then you see, even with my face there, I was
let me see how young you look there.
Oh, yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So,
it doesn't even look like you.
100%. I'd never beard like that.
Never beard. Untwana.
Hey. So the same.
That's amazing.
That same access card is exactly what I'm using now.
Wow. Yeah. So all they did was just reactivate.
Yeah. No, they just reactivated it. They just said, bring it. And then they reactivated it, and they told me I said, Shapo. And then, I went to fetch it.
And it works.
It works.
I'm tempted to show you my access card.
I can imagine how. Yeah.
No. Mine is. Yeah, that's why I feel I should show you.
Yeah, please.
Because my story is very different. This is my access card.
Wow. Wow.
I got this in the year 2000. I've had it for 26 years.
Sure. Can I see it? My goodness. Hey, man.
It is nothing. You're looking at nothing.
Sure. I can try. Okay, see, because I've got a very good eyesight. You can't see anything.
No, nothing. Not a single thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here's the...
Look at, you have to even turn it around to see.
Hey, man. Yeah. Like, you can't see.
There's nothing. Nothing. You can make it face the camera. You see nothing. Nothing at all. I've had it for that long. and every time I go, because every year we have to renew it. Yeah. When you get a new contract, they've always asked me, do you want us to give you a new one? I said, the sentimental value is so high. Wow. I can't you can give me a new one, but I still want to use this one.
You know what? This is your lucky charm. When are you not leaving that building? When I get out with that. No, they can't, because I don't think anyone in that building still has an access card like that.
You can see a little bit of my face there.
Yes.
There it is there.
Wow.
I've had it for 26 years.
Sure. It's like an, what do you call, like an effigy. It's like you can see Honale formation.
Yeah, there is a formation. Really. There is a formation. If mine was as visible as yours, the picture would be so different. 26 years old. Or 20 years. Well, I was 25, was 26 then, yes.
Wow. No. With that, you're not going anywhere. It's either we're not going to decide. Now you want to be CEO, or you want to be group CEO. You want to sit in the board.
I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. Wow. I can go on forever and ever and ever talking to you, but I want to go here quickly. Mm-hmm. Botswana. Mm-hmm. The relationship with that country. Mm-hmm. Tell me about it quickly.
Wow. So, my paternal grandmother, my grandmother who gave birth to my dad, is from there. She was born in Botswana, but when she was young, so my paternal great grandfather, her father, had 2 children. So she was the firstborn, and she had a younger brother.
Yeah.
Comet. Her name was Uratile. So her younger brother was Comet. So they only had 2 kids. So I don't know what happened. Something happened in the relationship, or maybe wanted to take a second wife. I don't know. But women then didn't really have much of an issue with that. Even now, if you're not young. But anyway. So she decided to leave. In those days, because in Iliko Central District, Botswana, it's more closer to Limpopo.
Yes.
In those days, it was not that difficult travel. And, you had relations. You've got relations on both sides. So she decided to leave and come live, go all days, which is closer to a few borders like Botswana, that side, like Pond Rift and, I think Tomberg, if I'm not mistaken. There's another one, Kalahari. But anyway, so she decided to come and live this side, and then my grandmother was raised here. But however, they never lost touch, connection.
Yes.
And they always stayed. And even Lena, comment. I remember the first time when he saw me, he couldn't believe it. He kept shaking his head. He says, "You look so much like my father."
Yes.
Like literally, you could see tears in his eyes.
Amazing.
And there's also a portrait, Kohai, of his father.
Yeah.
And his father, and also Lesley, who is my great grandmother, one who left and came and lived here with Uratile, her daughter. So, I can see it. He says, "You look so much like my father." I was young at the time, and never forget that. Like, he kept shaking his head, like, "Wow, this is unbelievable. My father is
back.
Has been reborn." So they kept in touch. So, but we never, except my dad would go there at times, visit family there. And even my grandmother, of course, she would go and visit. But Runaba, now we never used to go there. The only time first time I went to Botswana was in 2017, I think. The same year that I left Movango, actually. It was in 2017. I literally felt such a strong connection. Kopfontein, the Zeras border.
Yes.
In Botswana. So I literally kissed the ground. I've got pictures of literally, I felt like some homecoming of sorts of doing such an American thing.
Like Americans. The motherland.
But I felt, wow, man, I felt such a strong connection. I was happy that eventually I'm visiting the land of my forebearers.
Yeah.
Without them, I wouldn't be here today. And I saw, because my cousin, Refilwe, he's also late, unfortunately. He was the same age as me. Kibona that used to come visit during school holidays from Botswana, all the way from Gaborone. Gaborone is far, going to Limpopo.
Yeah.
But they would go, I think, by Kobubonong, where my grandmother's family is from. And then they would cross over, come this side, school holidays, they would come through. And then that was my first experience as Botswana. So we'd always say, "I go night 10 Tebe." So we'd always wonder what a Tebe King. And we were kids back then, when I was 6 years or 7 years. Tebe King. Okay, can you go like,
yes.
"Hey, man, I go Naimadi." And we'll be like, so that was my first experience as Botswana back then. And then I saw Refilwe that year in 2017, after so many years.
When you went to visit,
yeah, when I went to visit, and then it was such a full circle moment. I was so happy, and then we stayed in touch after that. He would come visit this side.
Yes.
And another thing, Refilwe loved Dr. Khumalo.
Doctor.
Oh. Like, you see, Botswana, here in South Africa, we love our celebrities and whatever, but no. Like, Botswana, they adore South African sports stars, actors, and even when I've gone there and sometimes just go there seeing family, and then I just go to a joint or maybe go have lunch. Like the reception is amazing.
Wow.
So even also when they hear Hore, I've got some Botswana blood in me as well. They get even more excited. We're like, wow, like you're one of us, So Refilwe loved Dr. Khumalo. I remember the one time, and I video called him at the time, and then it's like it's got those pictures. Like once Dr. Khumalo showing him pictures of also those pictures when he was Bradog was starting out, and then he was laughing
when he used to bend his pants, and then his pants would be this small.
Yeah. So man, Refilwe was amazing, but unfortunately, he passed on 2023. I was shooting Guyana Land of Blood that you touched on at the time. it was on a Saturday, and I had told them, but the show has to go on. So I only had one scene. I had to go to the shooting in Sandton, and it was the opening scene, I think, for that season. So it was very important. We could only use that office on a Saturday.
Oh yes.
So because now you have this backdrop of this Sandton, it's a law firm, this guy, but deciding to go home back, Guyane. So, but anyway, cut a long story short. The production, man, I'm so grateful to Cheza Pictures. They accommodated me.
Yeah.
They made sure, I just had that one scene, so they made sure I get rushed to the airport immediately after finishing shooting. I flew straight to Gaborone, went there, but when I got there, they just laid him to rest, but everyone was still there. And then it was very emotional because we were
he kept the connection going.
He did. No, he did. Like even when I don't even delete his messages, I still refer to the WhatsApp messages and read. Like, yo, man, life works in mysterious ways, man. That
life experience.
Like, enjoy all the moments. Yeah. When you have people like that, when you have family or friends, whatever, that are always checking up on you, that are always showing. Because sometimes we get so busy in our spaces that I always say, what you call. I'm not big on calls. Messages, yes, I will respond to messages after. But because we spend so much time, you can relate in studio. We don't always have access to our phones. But later, then I would send messages. But Refil is one of those who always constantly phone, aromela messages, and but yeah, man, may his soul rest.
We all need people like that in our lives who keep those relationships, particularly family relationships. Yeah. Those who keep them alive.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, they're family, I'll see them. They're cousins, I'll see them. But there's always someone that is placed in our families.
Yeah.
Whose role is to really keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And they do an amazing job. And you notice, you miss them immediately after they leave, where you realize that, and if it wasn't for those, we had someone like that in my family, Peggy Farm, who's a brother of mine, a cousin really, but I grew up with him. And he kept us going, man.
Wow.
And it's after he left that the disconnection started showing. And there's someone like that. Yeah, anyway, I'll get emotional.
No, I can completely concur and relate with that. You have those people that are just sort of like adhesive. They keep the family together. They are... And then you realize only, as you say, after they're gone, that, wow, man, we've lost. But the memories carry you and all the lessons that they taught you and the things that they took seriously. Like Refile, he was an engineer, so he was very particular in terms of how he did things and, things that I took for granted, and also, for example, Naratle Mojozi, then my mom, because my mom knows all the corners, Mojozi, okay, Obatoreka, like, I never go to downtown.
No. So your mom knew downtown?
Yeah, no, my mom knows. She knows everywhere. Horostokiwa guy. Ingi.
Palaza we guy.
Hey. So ke wa mpolela mama ka no okay ka ngwana ka o rata. Wa itse lo tse o di ratang tsona tse di brand tsona tse di luxury brands. They are there. Go strateng ka o nkrela tsona ke ra mama. Are di second hand genuine.
That's amazing.
So anyway, let feel they would go by can go di koning. Baraka, he loves sportswear, Baraka dilo tse kaofela leng. Like, he was always grateful for such things, things that, you take for granted. And then he would send me pictures, like, wow.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I've recently lost my mom. It's a horrible experience.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes. How's your relationship with your mom?
My relationship is amazing with my mom because Udula Morasenbeck, so I see her quite often. She just recently came back from home, in fact, a few days ago. So usually Musina, she passes through Joburg, Arabone, my brother also doesn't live too far from here, so they see us, spend a couple of days, and then she leaves, looks after us.
Yeah, still strong.
No, it's still strong.
Yeah.
She's there. She's there. She's here right now. And then man, the relationship is amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean now that also, my dad is no more. You get to like appreciate your mom more. You still at least have a parent. That's there. And then I talk to a lot of people about you're very lucky. And even me, as you said, I'm 45 now. I only lost my dad
recently 2 years ago.
43.
Yes.
And I realized that not a lot of people. Or when I was in his 70s, but you become grateful.
Yeah.
Wow. And that ditlogolo tsa hae, at least o bone
Ditlogolo. Yes.
and he loved my son so much. You know, and then I remember when my son came back, I think what it was it last year or sorry, my dad 2024. No, yes, sorry, yeah. But I think that was in 2023 or either 2020 or the year he died. So Batoba Holo, they still have a way of so gave him something.
Yeah. 20 randanyana.
But for Ena, I think Mamu feel like 4 clip or something.
Sure.
And he kept it. And then
yes.
Then but he said, and he told my mom, because not a million mamaka, like, no, Racholo mfile no 4 clip. And I was like, oh, wow. Then she came back with it. I think I think that's the mistake she did. Even today, my son is still saying, "Hooray! I've never seen that money." Mama, no, hey, Kirila want to. I don't know, but he wants to see it physically. No, what's again? Narumi account. That's such things. Can you more accounting high? It's everything, and that is now sentimental because it's from Raholo,
who's not around
anymore. So yeah.
No, man, it's been a pleasure, man, talking to you. I didn't anticipate we'll take 3 hours. Askies.
No. I have enjoyed every moment of it. I'm still enjoying it. Feels like we can still go on and on.
Trust me, we can. There's so much I've left out. And this one I will leave out deliberately. There's a crime that has happened in your life. And not once, not twice.
Yeah.
There's a moment where you even spoke about who's that director who used to do that.
Yeah.
And because when you tell the story of the crime that happened to you, you make reference to eyes. You don't forget people's eyes. And that's how you were able to conclude those. So I don't know. I want to talk about crime.
No, we can. I don't talk. You'll decide.
South African crime is tiring. All right, tell us.
But
you were wrong.
It would help people.
Okay.
It would help. So it was in 2009. I was still doing Mind the Gap and
traveling the country.
Yes. But on that, it was on a Saturday evening. I went out to go and work. I had gone to a gig. I didn't have a car then, so like with some of my friends, and my friends were like, "No, we're leaving," but it was still happening. I'm having fun. So, but so I thought, no, maybe I'll probably catch a lift or whatever.
And it's not Uber then.
That is the thing.
Yes.
So now I was like, man, let me just walk. Honale, those transports, they pick up batho, ba late.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so I started walking, I'm walking, towards, I'm going past Enoch Sontonga, Wits University. Jeez. But before that,
crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that I see some guys, they're lying down next to Wits, Wawana, that Mojorisen. It's not Sontonga, it's Jorisen. So they're lying down there. So it didn't really make much of it. There was a car that was parked further down. So I'm wondering. So it just becomes dark after that. So I'm walking. Then sometime later, I'm getting desperate now. But I can't see any cars. And a car comes and it's on my shop. And then I look at it. I see there's 2 guys. So I stop the car. Get share with those guys. They look young. They look like students. No, but if I anything, it was one. So man, gave me so when you people, hey man, hey, and then the guy hesitated. I was like, you see that hesitation, and I looked into his eyes. And something said to me, no, something is amiss. I mean, that hesitation. No. Go crest. No, get. Naively, I jump in at the back seat because it's 2 guys and they look young, they look innocuous or no. Babona if I get anything, hey. There's 2 guys who come from this side that I'm going in. So I'm trying to now escape through the right hand side. When I tried, another guy comes in. So I'm pinyela mohar.
And is this happening? Where's this car? You in this car?
Now I'm already inside the car.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm pinyela mohari, and then ke sa maolwa wa bona ke sa maolwa ne ke shapile ke di jile man or le re keng hape ke ndongos on that time ke apere ke shapo and then at that time ke 2009 as I said so Obama is big and let's keep us Obama wa bona ke apere this coat with chinchilla fur wa bona it's a bit cold it's just beginning of August hey those guys say bantas tunya and they put it on my temple. That's when I realized, no, okay, all right.
You can have the Obama shirt.
You can have, yeah. No, then they took everything in my undies and socks.
Wow, no way.
And then they turned more a net, Auckland Park.
I see that.
When you go past that Egoli gas, right? Then you keep going straight and then it becomes...
Towards the hotel, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Towards Stanley.
Towards Stanley, yeah, exactly. And then you go past Stanley there, then it becomes Berry Herzog, and then now it becomes Judith. So they dropped me off more Judith. That now connects Kamoli Best Notia next to West Park Cemetery.
So they drove far with you.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
And then they left me. They dropped me off there. Mankilele phone, no wallet, everything, all my clothes. I'm just in my undies and So now I start running.
Now you're on Bears, yes.
Now I'm on Judith. Yeah, going
towards Bears, yes.
So I'm running. As I'm running, a security car, I'm waving. The guy goes past. So they're thinking that it's someone that's drunk. So I don't drink. I'm just sober as a judge. So haba ba maraso. But so those guys swap around. As they swap, that's another thing. When I told my dad the story, remember my dad was a cop, net intelligence. So when I told him, now I'm thinking, no, probably never swap up because the guy drives faster in England. He's like, no, not necessarily. It just means the one who comes to the driver's seat knows the area better.
Okay.
So that's how my dad would analyze things. But anyway, so he comes through, and then we're like, yo, they took your phone. Yes, give us your number quickly. They called. The phone rang. Those guys answered.
Okay.
When they answered, I think they kept quiet, Mahata. I think they wanted to hear, are these guys in motion? What is happening? So again, now ended up saying something, Jens, about Rafo Isaka. Then they dropped. By team. But, cut a long story short, I remembered, no. That car, the one that was coming, is the same car you saw. Because there were two passengers sitting in there. And then there were, I think, either three guys lying on the floor. There was another one next to someone. So those guys never like off air. It's a syndicate.
So there were three outside, two driving.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Then I remembered, no, man. But one of the thing, camera there because it's a gate. Then I went back, go visit, checked, I think it was either the next day, but no, come on Monday, there's the head of security is here, Ing. But while I was there on that Saturday, Kisha, I saw that there was pictures on the wall of persons of interest. I saw this face, no, man, I remember this. This is the guy who went, who stammered and hesitated.
Yeah.
Because I looked at his eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the guy.
Sure.
So I came back on the Monday. But then the head of security was like, I can't give you his details, but I can tell you he used to work here. Nelly cleaner. So he knew where the cameras were positioned and everything. So where they were, the camera defeated. So they knew he was aware. He's the one. But what I can do, tell the investigator to get in touch, Lina. I can give them their details. So yeah, that's how.
So they got caught?
To be honest, I don't think so, because I told the investigator, and then the investigator just kept on dilly-dallying and then said to me, listen, just be grateful that your life was spared. I'm dealing with cases of murder. I'm dealing with cases of this. Literally, as I'm talking to you now, I got caught. I'm in court every day. From here, I have to go investigate and do all of this. And let the whole thing. But anyway, I just think it will help someone that if ever you are in a situation like that, but some criminals who are very smart, they will try and make sure. Because they know. But if you get a chance,
you'll remember someone's eyes.
100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Your stories are just incredible. And you're still here. You're strong. And there's many more years of your work that will be enjoying it on TV. And I say on TV and film and all of that. And I read the list of stuff that you've done. Osinganga, boss.
No, Kalabo. Thank you so much.
Osinganga, I speak to people who've done a lot in the studio. Not so long ago, I had Desmond Dube lebo Brafana Mokoena.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, the guy is the Castia 180.
180.
Yes.
Oh,
And
such a beautiful. I watched that. I hardly watch TV, to be honest, but I watched that.
you watched that,
And I
eh?
watched, their performance is amazing, and even
Power.
Lewaran Masemola, and also the guy, I don't know, the guy who plays lead.
It's Prince Grootboom.
Oh.
He's new. He's young like you.
amazing.
Back then, it's like he was the new kid on the block.
Oh, he's amazing.
It was his first film.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Well done.
Even he says it. Look, you know, this is God's gift. We just have to
Wow.
appreciate it for what it is. Yeah.
No. It's amazing. I thought they did a great job.
They did.
Yeah.
But what saddens me about that story is that it's almost a very close and true reflection of the reality of this country. That is not fun.
Look,
To realize those characters actually exist in our
No, they do.
society.
in fact, when I watched it, I saw a few elements, but one that stood out for me, that happened, I think, Neleko Sosha, with the dad driving into his driveway
And a kid running to greet daddy. Yeah.
Gave me those nightmares.
Yeah.
Felt around when
You reflected on that.
I reflected on that, and I was like, that's what. But also, they are telling, as you say, it's a story that happens way too often, unfortunately, in this country.
Yeah.
And we need to get to a point where we get over, man. Violent crime is bad. I mean, there's femicide.
Eish.
There's also even like your what they call xenophobic attacks. I don't know, however, but those things, I think we've gotten accustomed to solving things in a violent manner.
Yeah.
And there are other ways, honestly, to solve. I'm not saying but there's never an excuse
To be violent.
To be violent.
Yes. Yeah. Les, thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Hola.
Lesley Musina
Big
right
David.
here, man. I enjoyed this. Thank you so much. We're recording this on a Friday, and I have people waiting. Thank you, Tiak.
No, Kale Watata, and then as you can see, I'm also
Come on.
it's Bafana Friday as well. But we'll talk about it some other time. There's something that
We
I'm
will.
doing.
Okay. Wow, man. That's amazing. We wish them well. We wish my team wins the league. So there's a lot of wishes. We wish my team and your team, you support Downs, right? Of course. We wish they win. We become African champions. So there's a lot going.
Yeah.
Odds are totally against us that Sundowns will win the league, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I think game Chiefs midweek. Yeah, kind of. But anyway, we'll see what happens, as you say. But some people feel Paris is playing against two teams that are fighting relegation. So Lebona, they're fighting for survival. So we'll see.
Survival is $1 million every month. They don't want to lose those millions. Trust me. Thank you, Tiak. It's great. Wow.
King David Studio Podcast.